A very good afternoon to all of you. We will start the session. I request Mr. V.G. Agarwal, our Regional Chairman, to proceed the welcome address.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, our daddy. Mr. Ishan Tulsian, partner R.Tulsian and Company, Kolkata and R.Tulsian Global. Mrs. Anima Pandey, Regional Director, Eastern Region and Director Membership, EEPC India. My colleagues from the industry, fellow exporters, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. I am extremely delighted to take this opportunity to welcome you all at the awareness session on recent guidelines on GST investigations and procedural safeguards. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Ishan Tulsian, partner of R.Tulsian and Company, for taking his time out from his busy schedule to join us for the session. I am sure we will all be immensely benefited by his vast knowledge and experience during interaction with him. Mr. Tulsian is a practicing fellow chartered accountant and is an expert in the area of GST. He is a qualified and authorized enrolled agent and a federally authorized tax practitioner who is empowered by the USA Department of Treasury. He is also a registered valuer in the category of securities on financial assets under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. He has more than 15 years of experience in GST and income tax consultancy, litigation and compliances, USA tax planning and structuring, international taxation and valuation of businesses. Friends, as you may be aware, CBIC has recently issued instructions for stipulating guidelines for investigation for under goods and services tax to improve ease of doing business. In this regard, in today's session, Mr. Tulsian will enlighten us on the topics like analysis of recent CBIC and DGCI guidelines on GST investigations, the process to respond any summons notice, the rights and duties during summons and investigation proceedings, do's and don'ts with respect of summons and investigating proceedings, walkthrough of real life summons notice and reply, recent court judgments in respect of GST investigations, summons and anti-evasion procedures, latest landmark case laws impacting the business of exporters and importers. I request you all to make the program very interactive and seek clarification of your queries during the question and answer session so that you can benefit with this vast knowledge. Thank you. I am sure we will all have a very productive and fruitful discussion today, and we shall all have some takeaways away after the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will now request Mr. Tulsian to kindly take over the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank each and every one of you who have taken out your precious time on a Monday afternoon here, and I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for such a generous introduction to Mr. P.D. Agarwal ji. Thank you so much, the regional chairman. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to Mrs. Anima Pandey ji, the regional director at EEPC India, as well as to Mr. Kaushik Bhattacharya ji, the assistant director at EEPC India, for having invited me over here today to discuss on the topic, which is recent guidelines on GST investigation and procedural safeguards. So let us move ahead and let us see what we are going to cover today. So I try to put in as much content without any holds barred approach. So I put in all the case laws, the circulars, judicial pronouncements and everything. So we will try to cover as much as we can during this session, but this deck also has a lot of content which can be used as safeguards for which can so which can be used for safeguards during investigation procedure. So we are going to discuss about GST investigations and procedural safeguards. Means अपने कैसे अपना खुद का बचाव कर सकते हैं. GST investigation, it has become so rampant and widespread nowadays, but very few people, we should be aware as accountants, as business owners, at least the basic concepts as to how we can safeguard ourselves in arrest. What are bail provisions under GST? What are summon provisions? What are the rights which we have? What is search and seizure inspection? These idea we should have. We always discuss about litigated issues and all of those things, show cause notice, adjudication proceeding, scrutiny of returns, all that is fine. But we should also see how we should tackle with all of these investigation under GST. Now, we are also going to discuss, in GST investigation is a very wide term. We are going to discuss from the point of view of summon proceedings and arrest and bail provisions under GST. Also, we shall walk through real life summon notices. And we are going to see how we respond to summon notices, what should be our conduct, what are the rights and duties basically of the person who summoned in front of the proper officer. Also, there are several burning issues in GST investigation, such as any amount which has been collected in the name of tax during investigation proceedings, search, seizure, summons, arrest, that is illegal. You cannot collect any amount under any GST investigation apart from voluntary payment, which we are going to discuss. There are several case laws, Supreme Court case laws, also CBSE guidelines which have come. Also, parallel proceedings. I am a particular small business. I am seeing 3-4 wings of GST department. They all are investigating at the same time. Anti-evasion is coming, DGGI has come in, the state jurisdictional officers come in. So, what is the legality of that? Whether I can challenge that? Because it is serious harassment for the taxpayers. Also, we are going to discuss about the analysis of latest CBIC guidelines which have come out, instruction number 1 2023-24 on 30th of March 2024, which is just last month. Also, we are going to discuss in detail the instructions which have come out in 2022 August in related to summons and arrest provisions, right? And we are going to then discuss about arrests and bails. How should we conduct ourselves? What should we know about arrest? In which cases can a person arrest me? Which cases I can apply bail? What are the practical aspects of that, right? So let us move ahead and discuss. As I said, GST investigation is a very wide term. Under GST investigation, these are the powers which are entrusted. Can we see on the screen? These are the powers which are entrusted with the proper officer. That is, first I said, power to summon any person, which we will discuss in detail. Power to summon any person in deemed like a judicial proceeding. That person has to give statements, person has to give documents, and that particular document, evidence, all of that can be admitted in court of law. That is summon proceedings. So, proper officer superintendent has the power to issue summons. Second is power to arrest. In certain cases of specified offences, the GST officer, ACDC, commissioner, they can issue arrest memo, they can arrest us. We should know in what situations, what are the safeguards which we have. Also, there is power to inspect, search and seize, there is power to access business premises, power to inspect goods in movement. These are the powers under GST investigation as a whole. We are going to then further discuss who can start this investigation. So try to understand, investigation, as I said, all of these particular activities, they are form of investigation. Now, from the point of view of summons, who can issue summons? If I, as a particular business, I am administratively registered under the state authority. If I go into my GST portal, go in profile, I see red particular jurisdictional office mentioned. If I am registered under state authority, so can only the state authority superintendent issue a summons to me under section 70? No, he can issue summons, but the counterpart central tax authority can also issue summons to me. The DGGI, Directorate General of GST Intelligence, is an apex investigation body. In every state there is a zonal unit, but it is a central unit. If a case is taken up there, he can also issue summons. An audit commissioner, he cannot issue summons. If your case is selected under GST audit under section 65, they will issue you letters and notices to conduct GST audit, not investigation. They cannot initiate investigation. Sir, can an ACDC can also issue summons? If I want to see a summon notice, I want to see this person, or it is extra jurisdictional, I want to see the validity of the notice, I want to know who is the proper officer.
A superintendent usually issues summons. At the same time, an ACDC, Assistant Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Joint Commissioner, Additional Commissioner, Commissioner, they can also issue summons. As per Section 5, Subsection 2 of CGST Act, any officer can take over the power of any junior officer also. So junior officer has the power as per Circular 3/2017, that is superintendent can issue a summons notice. So ACDC or Additional Commissioner, Joint Commissioner can also issue summons notice, because junior officer is superintendent. They can take the power of superintendent and they can issue. Now we are going to understand what are the few documents which are to be maintained. Sir, these are very basic documents which we are supposed to maintain, not only for investigation, not only for audit, but for GST filing. These are must documents which we should have, and we all have this. That is, our stock statement for any raw material, any finished products, we should have that. Our details of our entire outward supplies for the year, our detail of entire input tax credit claimed, reversed, utilized during the year, any particular transaction between interbranch, which is a distinct entity if it is outside state, in the state, all those details. If I do job working, works contracting, all of those delivery challans I should be having. So there are several, in case of import and export, we should have shipping bills and all of those things, because those are specified documents on which input tax credit is claimed under Rule 36. Now all of these documents, they don't have to be mandatorily maintained in hard copy. No, the law allows us, Rule 36 allows us, Section 31 allows us to maintain it in Tally, accounting software. So till when do we have to maintain this? Sir, system उड़ गया 2 साल में. No, you have to maintain all of these documents pertaining to a financial year for at least up to 72 months, 6 years from the due date of the annual return for that year. Annual return, sir, for 2020-21, when was it? It was 31st of December 2021. If it had been extended for a few months, add 6 years from then, 2028, or 1 year from the conclusion of any investigation taken against you or any litigation. So 7-8-10 साल आपको maintain करना पड़ेगा. We need to know this is a statutory requirement under GST law. Now every summon notice, we are going to walk through practical summon notices, letters which we have received in investigation. We are going to see what are the specific documents which are required. It is not an exhaustive list, it is an illustrative list. These are few of the documents which are required: ITR returns, audited financial statements, cost audit report, your stock your audit report, your reconciliations of tax, reconciliations of input tax credit, output tax liability. So all of those will be required. We need to prepare. Let us understand what is summons. Summons means any proper officer, superintendent sir, can issue any notice under Section 70 subsection 1 mandating the personal presence of any person, not only the person who has done GST evasion. No, it can be a chartered accountant also. If the proper officer, superintendent, feels that I have any relevant information or knowledge about that GST evasion, about the clandestine removal, about that particular issue of invoices without actual supply of goods, all of those things. A CA can be called, a bank official can be called, a third party can be called, a witness can be called, a co-accused can be called, and the person who against whom investigation has been issued, he can be called. Please be ensured, if you receive a summons notice, don't be startled. First see, sir, as per the guidelines which we are going to discuss later, guideline, this is instruction number 3 2022-23 came out on 17th of August, which we are going to discuss later. It is mentioned, whoever you are sending the summons to, you need to mention the role of that person, whether he's being called as a witness or he's been called as an accused. Otherwise, आपको कोई भी summons मिलेगा, आप बोलेगा मेरे against investigation हो गया. नहीं, you have to read a summons against whom the investigation is mentioned, against whom the investigation is initiated. If I have been called as a witness or as an accused or as a co-accused, right? So a superintendent, he can call any person for summons if he considers his attendance necessary on a given date and time mentioned in the summons notice to give evidence. Sir, क्या होता है summons क्या होता है? It is examination, interrogation. Officer is sitting here, the designated inspector. Usually superintendents, they are busy, so the inspector is sitting there. He has the computer screen. He has in format 40 questions. He's asking you, अच्छा sir, fake invoice था, आपका केस पकड़ा गया, आपका supplier जो है नोएडा में, he has been adjudged as a fake supplier. Means he is issuing just invoices. There is no actual movement of goods, and he has been कोई वहाँ पर investigation, inspection हुआ, and it has been adjudged he is a bogus supplier. जमा पर्ची का काम कर रहा है. So you have purchased from that supplier in this 1 year. So summons is issued because he is passing on input tax credit by just uploading the invoice in his GSTR1, but he is not actually giving the goods. There is no movement of goods. So you have purchased from him. You have just taken the benefit of input tax credit from the particular invoice in your GSTR 2 and 2B. So sir, we want you to give us these replies to these questions, आप माल कब खरीदे, कितना माल खरीदे, कोई एजेंट था बीच में क्या, ब्रोकर था, and all those questions they ask you, right? You have to give statements, you have to give replies, and that can be admissible as an evidence in the court of law. समन्स क्या है सर? समन्स है कि आप वो रूम में जा रही है, but it will be considered as a judicial proceeding. आप कोर्ट के सामने खड़े हो, आप कटघरे में खड़े हुए हो, मतलब I'm just saying कटघरा नहीं है, आप चेयर टेबल ही है, but whatever statement which you are going to give has evidentiary value, can be admitted in the court of law, you can be prosecuted against that, any other person can be prosecuted against that for the service of interest of justice, that can be admitted in the court of law, right? So these evidences, statements, documents, things which are mentioned, there are certain documents also mentioned in case if it is a fake supplier. So in the summon which we are going to see, document mentioned, oh please give us the accounts ledger with the supplier, please give us copies of purchase invoices. So we give that, we give our statements, and this is considered to be a judicial proceeding. आप कोर्ट में बैठे हो, and if you skip it, there are sections under Indian Penal Code which we are going to discuss, which you can be imprisoned also. So it's a serious affair. You are legally bound to attend summons. You are legally bound to attend summons and speak the truth. But अपना safeguards क्या है? Let us discuss. We mentioned any person. Sir, if you are receiving a summons, is it 100% sure you have done GST evasion? अरे मेरे को कुछ पता ही नहीं है GST evasion क्या है. My supplier has done some fake invoicing for 50 clients of his. I am the 51st client. I have e bill, I have consignment note, I have all the bank transactions, I have every document factually available for substantiating the movement of goods from the supplier premises to my customer. I have all that. But since he has been adjudged as a bogus person, I have been summoned. Right? So any person can be summoned. I am not a part of the GST investigation. Investigation has not been issued against me, but I have been summoned. So because I contain certain facts for which they want to ascertain, they want to use those facts to corroborate the main evidence, to nip that kingpin person, right? That is one thing. There are Madras High Court judgment, Supreme Court judgment, which I have mentioned here, that any person can be summoned. Please don't be just be assured that only the person against whom investigation is issued, he can only be summoned. Sir, I said summons is a very serious affair, judicial proceeding. आप कोर्ट में बैठे हो, इसका मतलब क्या है? If you skip summons, if you don't attend summons, what is the outcome of that? Means there is section 193 and section 228 of Indian Penal Code. 193, what does it say? It says कोई भी झूठा फूटा आप कुछ भी चीज बोलेंगे, you fabricate any evidence, you can be in prison for up to 7 years with fine. Hefty fines, hefty imprisonment. So it's a serious affair. Second thing, section 228 says if you do not cooperate, interrupt, insult any public servant or the particular superintendent or inspector, you can be imprisoned up to 6 months. If you don't attend summons, in the summons notice which we are going to see, towards the end it is mentioned, section 174, 175, in all the summons, it is in the prescribed format. If you don't attend the summons, you will attract section 174, 175. क्या है 174, 175? 174 बोलता है if you don't attend summons without giving any reasonable explanation or adjournment or any reasonable justification and you skip it, so आपके अगेंस्ट में absconder का नोटिस निकाला जा सकता है. You can be imprisoned for up to 1 month with fine. Or if you do not submit documents which are mentioned in the summons, so you can again be penalized, imprisoned for 1 month. That is section 175. There is also you may have to pay up to 25,000 rupees under GST Act, under section 122 subsection 3 clause D. Right? So attending summons is very important. Now significant aspects of summons. I have already mentioned the jurisdiction, who is the proper officer, superintendent is the proper officer. Right? DGGI can do that. Anti-evasion can do that. Pan-India body can do that. CGST counterpart can do it if you are registered under SGST or vice versa also. Now sir, as I mentioned, statements which are given during summons, whether they have evidentiary value, yes. Acha sir, we have seen so many Hindi movies, we see that the lawyer, hotshot lawyer in the courtroom, he says, acha, any confession given to any police officer is not admissible in the court of law. What does that mean? You've seen it in movies, all of us. That means there is Indian Evidence Act section 25, which is applicable on police officers. Means most of the 99% of the cases, police officers, they may use force, aggression, violence, and they may extract some involuntary statement or something which that person who is arrested, he will not say truthfully. He will say under coercion. He will say under duress. But similar nature is not that of our GST officers. GST officers are, as per law, legislators, they are going to not apply duress, coercion. So any statement given to a GST officer, custom officer, central excise officer is admissible in the court of law. Section 25 of Indian Evidence Act does not apply. Whereas practically on the ground, when we see all these, we are part of these investigation proceedings, so much of duress, threat of arrest, so much of stress of investigation, so much of threat for everything is there. That person has to make payment, that person has to oblige, has to make statements as per the will of the particular officer, right? But out here it is clear, any statement given in summons can be admitted as an evidence in the court of law. There is Supreme Court judgment also in Rumesh Chandra Mehta. It is mentioned that custom officers, GST officers are not police officers. So Section 25 of Indian Evidence Act is not applicable, right? There are many Supreme Court case laws, other High Court case laws which I have also mentioned here. What we need to understand is there is a specific provision, Section 136 Clause B in GST Act. What does it say? आप कोई भी as a witness आप जा रहे हो, you given an evidence against the main accused. That particular statement which you have given, that can be used as an evidence in the court of law for the purpose of justice first, can be used to corroborate the main evidence and the other credible evidence in the investigation, and third is that it can be used for prosecution of the main accused. Now we need to understand whether the taxpayer has the right to remain silent. Sir, very important safeguard. We all should know this. We are expected to be truthful during our summon proceedings, examination, interrogation. If we have some data, we should give it. Otherwise, there are 7 years of imprisonment, up to 7 years. But sir, there is a settled law as per Supreme Court guidelines. Our Constitution of India, Article 20 sub Article 3 says, no person accused can be made or forced to be a witness against himself. So if you know something and you are the main accused, and if you feel that if you were to give this statement, which will be admitted as evidence, you have the right to remain silent also. You have the duty to be truthful, but you have a right to remain silent also. There are Supreme Court case laws in NSR Krishna Prasad and other PV Ramana Reddy Telangana High Court. Here it is mentioned, right to remain silent will not be assumed as an interference or objection during any proceedings. And it cannot be said as an obstruction, it is not an offense. Also, Section 161 of CRPC, it says, no person is bound to answer any question which exposes him to a criminal charge. You know that if you are going to answer these particular questions, you are subjecting yourself to criminal charge. You be silent. They may say you are evasive, you are not cooperating. Oh, we will arrest you. But sir, there are again arrest provisions. You cannot just arrest me like that. There are lots of provisions which we are going to discuss, right? Now, the right to remain silent we've understood. Let us see the law of retraction, sir. Very, very, very important tool, safeguard which we have during summons. Sir, during summons, I am shivering. I am confused. I am under duress, coercion. I have never been in a situation like this. So many questions are being asked to me, and I give a statement which is not interpreted properly, which is false, which I later on figure out that it is not entirely true. I am confused. I give wrong facts. So can I retract from that statement? Because that has become an evidence in the court of law. Yes, at the earliest instance that I realize that, there is no time duration mentioned. Maybe 1 month, maybe 5 days, maybe 10 days. You can write an affidavit, submit it to the proper officer, the Department Anti-Evasion, Department of DGG, and you can say, sir, I was confused that time under some whatever thing reason. Please replace that evidence with this new evidence of mine, and this should be read in this particular interpretation and manner. So you save yourself. This is law of retraction. Very, very important tool. Okay. Now, after that, we see, can a CA advocate accompany? Sir, we are so scared of summons. We don't know what he will ask. We don't know whether he can arrest us from there. We don't know what type of law is around that. So, our CA or lawyer, when we get a summon, 10 days notice is there, we need to reply. We prepare all the documents. The advocate or CA prepares us. These sir, ye sab questions bol sakte hai, ye aapka case hai, etc. and all. Still, I'm very scared. I'm walking upstairs to the anti-evasion or DGT department. There I have summons at this particular time. Can my CA or lawyer sit next to me, comfort me? Can he be a part of these examination proceedings? No, he cannot. As per law, settled Supreme Court guidelines also, that that this particular Supreme Court case law is the Poolpandi versus Superintendent. There is M.K. Kundia. There they say, sir, your CA or lawyer can sit at a visible distance, not at an audible distance. What does this mean? Visible distance. I am sitting across the glass, and I am seeing there is no violation of any human right. There is no violent tactic. He is not being put under duress. I can see that, but I am not expected to hear the interrogation. I cannot intervene. I cannot guide or prompt. So, but in many cases, myself personally also, we request the proper officer who is the superintendent, and in many cases they allow the CA or the lawyer to sit next to the client during the interrogation. You don't interrupt, don't prompt anything. But it is a great mental support, right? So these are a few case laws which I mentioned here. Now, installation of CCTV. Sir, there is no CCTV or microphone facility. We've all seen, if we've gone to any GST department, anti-evasion wing or whatever, Supreme Court case law in Paramveer Singh, Saini and Baljit Singh, very safeguard. We can challenge the investigation, where they say that any room or any area of investigation, examination, interrogation, summon proceedings, there should be CCTV with microphone, so that the human rights, the particular rights of the person is safeguarded. They can record what is happening, that it is not under duress or coercion, right? This particular case law was also mentioned by the Karnataka High Court in Swiggy bundle technologies, which we will discuss later. Very important case law. Now, very, very important, indispensable safeguard, law of cross-examination. Sir, very important. Even in income tax case laws, there are so many statutes it is there. Any third person, witness, co-accused, banker, your CA, any person gives any adverse statement or against me, submits any document and implicates me, say that sir, nahi yahi chori kiya. Now that person, the proper officer, has all this credible document in his file written, and he issues an arrest, or he issues a particular show cause notice, adjudication. So can an order be passed without the opportunity of me cross-examining that person who is making an adverse remark against me, on the basis of which an order has been issued? So Supreme Court, in more than 20 case laws I mentioned here, extremely important, if you should always exercise the right to cross-examine. Now there are Supreme Court case laws which have gone way beyond and said that if any order can be mentioned as null and void also, if it has based on an evidence which is a statement which is adverse in nature by a person against a person who summoned, and this person who summoned, he has not got the opportunity, or his opportunity to cross-examine has been denied. So that order can be null and void. You can file a writ petition. Also, this particular statement, it can be set aside and not be considered as an evidence if right to cross-examine has been not allotted, right? There are so many case laws I mentioned here. Also here, you can go through these. These are all Supreme Court and High Court case laws. It's a settled law, right? Now, right to refresh one's memory. Sir, I am sitting in summons. I will sit here for the next 8 hours. I will answer more than 100 questions. Am I expected to remember all the answers at that point in time? Or am I duty bound to answer all the questions? I have right to remain silent, we just understood, but am I duty bound to answer all the questions? Sir, I can say मेरे को याद नहीं है, इंसान है. We cannot refresh, we cannot have everything on our mind at right then. We can seek time. Sir, 10 दिन दीजिए. Give us 2 weeks, give us 1 week. We will come with the correct information and facts, and we will submit that under undertaking and cover letter. So I am not duty bound to give all the answers right then if I am not sure about the facts, if I am not sure about the 100% correctness of that. Also, we can refer to our tally data. We can refer to our books of accounts during summons. This is also another safeguard, because we are not expected to remember everything. Now, to-dos for if you are sitting in a summons proceedings, please do these things and don't do these things, okay, which I am going to mention. Please delve upon the facts. Sir, fake supplier का case है. Noida में जो supplier था, he has given me a proper bill, माल आया है, but he has been charged under fake supplier for other cases, for other clients. So I have all the documents. I give you bill, consignment note, undertaking, bank statement, I have delivery challan, I have bank statements, all of those things. And I am going to present that those are facts. Those are not matter of law. Please don't argue on matter of law. कि sir ये section का ये प्रावधान का मतलब ये है. No, leave that for your profession or yourself when you answer. Reply to the show cause notice which will be eventually issued. But only and only substantiate your genuineness of transaction or your case with matter of facts. Right? We are going to walk through live summons and the replies and all. Please you may consider to hire a professional who can guide you, who can arrange for these documents, who can train you or who can guide you as to what documents are required. Now here it is mentioned, don't give any additional document. हम लोग सुनते हैं ना, GST department को एक ABCD भी ज़्यादा मत दीजिए, because they may just use that and they may use it against you. But in this case, which we are going to see, give additional documents if it substantiates your case. In the summons, only 2 documents have been mentioned. Supplier जो bogus supplier है, alleged bogus supplier, उनका सिर्फ invoices दीजिए and account ledger. But I have 10 more documents to substantiate my case. I will submit all of that. Why will I not submit? But don't submit any additional document which is irrelevant, which does not substantiate your case. Sir, you will not receive a copy of the evidence. They will print it out, you will sign it, before you will read it and then sign it. Please read it properly, because whatever you are saying, whatever he is understanding, whatever he is writing, whatever you are reading, those are 4 different things, maybe 4 different things. If you sign it, give it, you forget law of retraction, you're gone. This is admitted in the court of law. Please read it, then sign it. Also, you will not receive a copy. कोई copy नहीं है. Next show cause notice आएगा. So please, if there is any pending document detail which is required to be submitted after 10 days, 7 days, please write it down, because your memory is fresh then. Now, as I mentioned, instruction number 03/2022-23, dated your 17th of August 2022. These are guidelines for the issuance of summons. for summon proceedings, for transparency of these investigating authorities, for ease of business. So what is important? Sir, summon should be issued as a last resort. ऐसे नहीं कि toffee chocolate की तरह बांट रहे summon 10,000. No. First issue a letter with a DIN asking for documents and details. If that person is evasive in his reply, does not give appropriate document, does not submit, does not reply, then issue summons. Guidelines are same. So issue summons only when it is required. Firstly, second, when you are issuing summons, do not use threatening language. Please do not use harsh language. Sir, section 174, 175 will be mentioned of IPC. If you don't attend summons, you may be imprisoned. If you don't submit these documents, you may be imprisoned. Those will be mentioned. But summons should not be in a threatening language. Second is, please do not issue summons to the top management. I am the owner of my business. My turnover is 1,000 crores. You are issuing summons to the director. Do I see tax affairs? Do I see accounting affairs? Do I have these day-to-day tax compliance knowledge? No, I don't have. Please issue summons, or the company will designate or will notify the department, sir, you can call these people, my accounts people, my finance people, they have the relevant knowledge. Please always summon only those people who have the relevant knowledge. Why are you wasting my time? Second thing is, even if you have to issue to the top management, it should be with reasons to believe that the top management is involved in any GST evasion case with any decision making. So if you have reason to believe, then you can ask the top management and you can in the first instance issue summons. Then there are Delhi High Court judgment, Jharkhand High Court judgment also here in GL gas and all that, whatever has been mentioned, this point which I mentioned. Summons should not be issued repeatedly. First letter, no reply, then issue summons. Take evidence during investigation, inspection, search, seizure, arrest. I get more evidence, I get more detail. I want to corroborate, I want someone to corroborate that. I call the director again. Fine, but not on the same evidence again and again calling. No, that is not allowed. So DIN, it may sound so silly to us that the DGGI, anti-evasion, they are issuing notices, but they have issued 10 pages of documents. They have found all the approval from the assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, everyone, but they have forgotten to put DIN. I will attach a particular notice which is not a summons notice. This has happened. This has happened for a very big casino client of ours in Gangtok. They have issued particular notice initiating investigation of 3 pages, 4 pages documents. No DIN is there. We challenged it. In this case, you don't even need to reply. The law says, but you should reply and should mention the particular reference of the circular, which is circular 122/41/2019, extremely important safeguard. So you mention this, and that he cannot take any action. He has to drop that particular letter or investigation. Also, format of summons, there is a specified format which we are going to see as per the circular. Now, there are other points which are to be. Sir, can you call for summons at 10 in the night, 3 in the morning? Sir, it happens. It is happening. Behind closed doors, when investigation is happening of search and seizure of big companies, this is what is happening. Doors are being shut. They have been asked to pay 5 crores, 10 crores, 20 crores, 50 crores, whatever. They are forced to make payment in the guise of voluntary payment under section 73(5), 74(5). But these are not voluntary payments. These are payment illegal collection. During investigation, we are going to discuss the legality of that. What is you can issue spot summons also, but ideally this should be the time. This time has not been mentioned in the law, not been mentioned in any guideline. This is as per a reference taken from Agarwal Foundries Private Limited, this particular Telangana High Court. Also, if you skip 3 summons, first summon issued today, second summon after reasonable interval of time 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, there is no time limit, but reasonable interval of time. 3 summons skip, no reply, no adjournment notice, no request for adjournment, no seeking reasonable whatever. A complaint can be filed with the local magistrate, and an absconder notice can be, you can be termed as an absconder. Section 174, 172, 175 of IPC can be charged on you. So also, as I mentioned initially, if you remember, in the summons notice, ideally the name of the offender should be mentioned. If I am receiving it as a witness, I should not be startled to see that investigation has been initiated against me. Please mention the person, name of the person against whom the investigation is there, or my role for the summons. You have been invited as a witness. Now, these are a few real life summons we are going to walk through. Sir, fake invoice case. What is fake invoice case? Sir, supplier hai, jhuta hai. He is a non-existent person. He is not conducting business from his registered place of business. He is not supplying goods only or services, but he is issuing invoices. In GSTR 1, coming to my 2A, 2B, I am claiming import, I am forwarding it. So, these are the cases, usual cases which we see in investigation. We are going to see what other cases also we see. Here in this summon notice, if you can see that this particular person was called and 2 documents, they say that, sir, the supplier is bogus. So you have to submit the copies of the invoices of your purchase and the account ledger. And please come and visit us. Now, only 2 documents were sought. but we have submitted more than 20 documents. As I said, ये बोल रहे हैं कि माल आया ही नहीं है नोएडा से कलकत्ता, तो आप तो ये फर्जी इनवॉइस लेकर के इनपुट आप खा के बैठे हो. They are saying that we have to ensure that we generate or establish a proper trail of movement of goods from the premises of the supplier in Noida to my premise, then further to the customer premise. If I am able to do all of that, then there is no question of any any fake invoice or not. Please try to understand the extremely important concept that supplier may have issued fake invoices for 50 people. I am not one of those 50 people. Investigation is qua, means in respect of a transaction, not in respect of a supplier for me. It is a very important concept. So even if he has done fake invoicing, in my case, if he has not, then I can prove it and I can get out of it. So in this particular case, to prove the genuineness of my purchase transaction, what was asked? Account ledger, second, the copies of the purchase invoices. In addition to that, I've given way bills, I've given transporter consignment notes, I've given bank statement with the highlight of the bank payments to the supplier. Also, further, after 10 days, I consolidated more documents to substantiate my case. सब तो summons के time में नहीं दे सकते ना, बाद में ध्यान आया और भी documents है. So we prepared all of these documents. The sales side now we gave. So the माल आया हम लोग के यहाँ पर godown में, and then it went forward to be sold to the customer. So the outward e-way bill, outward transporter consignment note bilty, outward whatever, all of these undertakings from the transporter, from the customer, that in respect of these transactions I have made payment to my client, or transporter has carried all of this in these vehicle numbers, all of those things. So we submitted all of that and we tried to establish a genuine link. Now these are few of the registers which we made by our own hand, right? This comes out of tally. इसका क्या है? All these names have been changed though. Fake supplier Swastik International, alleged 80,000 kg का हम स्क्रैप खरीदे उनसे. अब हम अपने दो क्लाइंट को भेजे. In the next 10-15 days I've sold it to 2 customers. Sri Hari Steel Industry have sold 70,000 kg and 5,000 remaining 5,000 kg have sold it to Mrityunjay Udyog. So I can see as per my stock register, the closing balance is 0. What I'm trying to do, माल इतना आया from your alleged bogus supplier and I sold it to these people and I substantiated with all of these documents. These are all my sale invoices, against which bilty number is there, against which the vehicle number is there, against which the weight which that vehicle is carrying is there, against which e-way bill number is there. All of those things are there. These are copies of undertakings from the transporter, copies of undertaking from the client, right? That transactions that happened. The same thing which I'm talking, 99 out of 100 cases is this nowadays which we see. And these are very important case laws which I have mentioned, which we use during reply to summons. That is, in case if purchase has been made, they say purchase is made from a non-existent supplier, maal hi nahi aaya hai, just invoices have been issued or supplier is a fraudulent party. In regard to that, we can take the ground. We can say the department cannot give bold statements or ऐसे कोई भी ऐसे हवा में कोई statement or conjecture or something. Please prove that this one transaction which I have done, that is fake. I don't care whether the supplier is fake. Supplier may be fake. What do I have to do? My transaction needs to be genuine, right? So we have to, as I mentioned, we have to prove physically that the goods have been received with tangible evidence. Now, also there is a particular case law which I mentioned here, Malerkotla Steel here. There may be an instance where the supplier who is adjudged as bogus, he may not have received goods. But I have received goods when I purchased from him and I have all the details. It is not necessary if he is not received goods, I will also not receive goods. What sort of logic is that? These case laws we can mention in submissions. And these are few other samples of summons which, as I mentioned, the director of a very big casino in Gangtok, he was called with all these documents. Now, sir, this is the very, laughable kind of a document. This is of 3 pages when more than 20, 30, 40 details are required from a casino for fake invoicing or whatever it is. Now, DIN has not been mentioned. They have not mentioned DIN. They may have generated, but they have not mentioned it, or they may not have generated. We challenged it, sir. This happens every one of the fifth notice that this happens. So we challenged it. We mentioned this particular circular, and we said it is void of any issue. This does not hold any value, right? Now, burning issues under investigation, sir. I mentioned behind closed doors, search and seizure inspection is happening. He is saying, I will arrest you right now. I will issue a warrant and I will issue arrest memo. I will arrest if you don't make payment of 25 crores. What will you do? Obviously, if you are working at that scale and if you think that you can escape, yes, a bhashan got different and real life is very different. When you are on the ground and when the officers are there beating down your neck, you may have to comply at that point in time. So there are safeguards, sir. We need to understand what are the safeguards. If a search seizure is happening, inspection is happening, or if summon is also happening, after summons, that person, he tells me that, sir, you make payment of 25 crores right now as a recovery, and you show it as voluntary payment under section 74 subsection 5, 73 subsection 5 in DRC 03 under self-assessment, and we will not arrest you. You make that payment, sir. Try to understand what is this concept I'm saying. At any given point in time during investigation, first inspection, then search seizure, third summon, fourth arrest. In all of these, the person who has been summoned or the person against whom the investigation is there, he can make payment voluntarily at any given stage. But that needs to be voluntary. What is that? The section is section 73 subsection 5, 74 subsection 5. मीन्स की नोटिस इशू करने से पहले हम सब भुगतान कर देंगे सर, हमको जेल में नहीं जाना है, हमको एडजुडिकेशन भी नहीं चाहिए. आई डोंट वांट यू टू इशू शो कॉज नोटिस आल्सो टू मी. आई विल मेक 100% पेमेंट. I will admit the liability, voluntarily make the payment with interest with 15% penalty right now on the search premise. Please do not issue even a show cause notice. Now 2-3 days later the search party leaves. He retracts from his statement. He says that, sir, all of these payments which were recovered, they were under so much of duress. I am sweating. It is under duress and coercion and under so much of harassment. So I make the payment then. It is not voluntary, it is involuntary. And there is no authority under section 73, section 74 to collect advance payment. So that a particular order is issued under show cause notice which is issued 1 year later, order comes out 2 years later, and I appropriate the demand which is in that order with this particular amount. There is no. If you have collected any amount during investigation forcefully, and if complaint is filed, statement is retracted, after the search party leaves, there are writ petitions, favorable judgments where refund has been given, not only the principal amount with interest. Huge safeguard, and this happens in all the cases. You retract from the statement, you say file a writ petition, or you say you file a complaint, say that all this amount has been collected without any authority of law. I am not made voluntary payment. I am ready to contest. Please issue show cause notice. So what is the concept of voluntary payment 74, 75? They say that if you make full voluntary payment, there is no scope of any litigation. But if he is saying tomorrow, I want litigation, I want my money back, I want to litigate. So the court is hell-bent, is obviously forced to say that there is no voluntary payment. He is saying he wants to litigate, please issue him show cause notice. How is it voluntary payment? Please refund all his money back. So these are the cases in Sri Nandi, Dhal Mills. Here we see in Swiggy case which we had mentioned at 4 a.m. in the morning. At 4 a.m. in the morning, so many crores of money were paid in DRC 03 in the guise of voluntary payment, but under the threat of arrest. 2 days later, the search party leaves, he retracts. Sir, he says, illegal hai. They put a gunpoint at me, metaphorically, and I had to make payment. Please give back my entire amount. They were given back with interest. Refund. Because, sir, try to understand. Sir, this concept everyone should understand.
Time limit क्या है?
क्या चीज? रिट्रैक्ट करने का कोई टाइम लिमिट नहीं है सर. एज सून एज पॉसिबल. इट हैपेंस इन आवर्स. प्रैक्टिकली जो हम लोग देखते हैं, एक दिन, आधा दिन, सर्च पार्टी निकलता है, नेक्स्ट दिन रिट्रैक्ट. आई फाइल अ कंप्लेंट, आई फाइल अ रिट. तो इसमें कैसे? लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड वन कंसेप्ट. Until and unless adjudication proceeding is started, which is DRC 01 or even not even DRC 01A, pre-show cause notice. No. Until and unless adjudication proceeding is started, show cause notice is issued, personal hearing happens, order comes out in DRC 06, 07, order is demand liability is ascertained, you get 3 months to make payment. Then after that, if you don't make payment in 3 months, under section 78, under section 79, recovery proceedings can it be initiated again. Recovery proceeding क्या है? बैंक अकाउंट फ्रीज कर दिया, आपका कोई डेटर है उसको पकड़ के पैसा ले लिया आपके तरफ से, आपका गुड्स है वो बेच दिया, नीलाम कर दिया. Those are recovery proceedings. So what is it saying? Recovery can only be done after adjudication. Where is the adjudication? You not even issued show cause notice. How can you take money during investigation? Investigation you do so that you find out corroborative evidence so that you can initiate adjudication proceeding. Investigation aids in adjudication proceeding. Investigation में पैसा नहीं लेते हैं. This concept needs to be very clear. This is a very big safeguard. But ये सब अभी है, लेकिन practical ground people still make payment, and the best safeguard is retract. Apply for a writ, right? No, so in this particular Swiggy case law also, it is mentioned this Paramveer Singh Saini, Karnataka High Court said this, where are the CCTVs? Where are the microphones? There is nothing. So they also chided the particular DGG there for this. Sir, Bhumi Associate Gujarat High Court went 2 steps further. Before the instruction 02/2022-23 dated 17th August 2022 came out, Bhumi Associate in Gujarat High Court, this judgment, they gave guidelines to the CBIC. Said कि आपका कोई guideline नहीं, आप लोग arbitrarily सब कर रहे हो. I will give you guideline. The guideline, first guideline, under no mode, check, cash, anything during any investigation proceeding, inspection, search, seizure, your summons, arrest, you cannot issue even, collect even a single penny. First guideline. Second guideline, that if the person even wants to come forward during search, say कि sir गलती हुआ, genuinely, sir मेरे को, for example, 1 lakh रुपये मेरे को जमा करना मेरा गलती है, मेरे को भूल गए, देखे नहीं जो भी है, I will pay 15% penalty with interest, I will make payment right now. The officer or search party should say, no sir, don't do it right now, please let us leave. Because अभी आप कर देंगे, बाद में हम रिट फाइल करेंगे, बोलेंगे रिट्रैक्ट करेंगे, it has been forceful payment. So the court is saying, please let the search party go. Even if the person wants to come and actually voluntarily pay in DRC 03, wait for 2 days, 1 day, let him go, then you make payment. Third thing, there should be a facility of filing complaint. If any forceful payment has been acquired from any officer, raid party, anyone, there should be a facility provided to file a complaint against that officer. And if proven correct, he can be subject to disciplinary action. They've gone way beyond this particular. Now after all of this, now we will, sir, how many people know when we are making this voluntary payment, no forceful payment, voluntary payment, sacha payment karna hai during investigation, can we use our electronic credit ledger? Can I get more replies? Do we know this particular law? Thank you. Yes, exactly. So, as sir said that we can use the electronic credit ledger balance. What for? Making only output tax liability. RCM is not output tax liability. RCM is not under definition of section 2 of output tax liability. It is a different tax. Penalty, no output tax liability. Interest, no output tax liability. Late fees, no output tax liability self. We can pay using the electronic credit ledger balance at any given point in time during investigation, any given point in time during adjudication, any given point in time during recovery proceedings. But if you have to make payment of your penalty, late fees and all of those, it is mandatory to use our electronic cash ledger. So if any officer is forcing you and breathing down your neck and saying, sir, पैसा अभी जमा करके payment करोगे तो उठा के ले जाएंगे. And even if you have to make payment, please use your credit ledger. So that your fund is not blocked, because ये रिट जाएगा, पैसा आएगा, कब आएगा, क्या आएगा भी आएगा जो भी है, right? So now after all of this pressure and all of these case laws, the department felt that we need to come out with a to close all this arbitrariness during investigation. So May 25, 2022, instruction 01, which I was mentioning, they took the suit of Bhumi Associate Gujarat High Court, and they mentioned that, sir, okay, there is no necessity to make any paisa payment during any investigation procedure. उन लोग finally बोल दिए. Also at the same time they said that it is clear, show cause notice issue करो, demand confirm करो, तब पैसा मांगो. They have said the law needs to be followed. 73 subsection 1, 74 subsection 1. Order comes out. After that, demand in DRC 06, 07, 3 months still to appeal or to make the payment. If 3 months में निकल जाता है, section 78, section 79 में recovery start हो जाएगा. Then आप recovery कर सकते हो, जैसे आप अभी कर रहे हो. But अभी तो आपका show cause notice issue नहीं हुआ. You are 2 years away from what you are doing right now. What? There is no concept of pre-tax, and there is no concept of payment under duress in GST. There are fine gentlemen here, they may remember that there was a concept of payment under duress under central tax, central excise laws, right? Where an order comes in, you want to contest that, you want to go for appeal, but you don't want to go against the revenue also, you make full payment or bulk payment, and you win the appeal, you get back the money with interest. So there is no concept here, but the courts are saying these payments are collected under duress, coercion, and under this particular protest. This is not a language of GST law. There is no concept of payment under duress. Payment under this thing, protest, right? Now, as we mentioned all of this, we can take other safeguards also. We can mention violation of Article 265, violation of Article 300A, all of those things. We can say, sir, adjudication proceeding हुआ ही नहीं है, order ही नहीं आया, पैसा कैसे मांग सकते हो? All of these things are written, which I mentioned here, right? These are case laws also, which I mentioned. Now, these are pointers which we've already discussed for investigation. You guys want to go through it? DGGIS, Pan India jurisdiction, right to apply for refund in case payment is made during summon or investigation, right to let consultant be present, visible. All we've discussed all of this, right? Now, parallel proceedings are another dispute. I am being harassed. हम काम करिए कि 3 जगह reply भेजे आज. Anti-evasion has issued a particular investigation against me, issued a summons. DGGI Pan India West Bengal Zonal Unit has given a particular summons or a letter, initiated investigation. My jurisdictional superintendent, range jurisdictional superintendent, he has issued summons on all 3 different matters. Can they do that? Yes, they can do that. But they need to be all 3 different matters. For example, Audit Commissionerate issues under section 65, issues you an audit letter ADT01. During audit they find what? 180 days तक आप supplier को पैसा ही नहीं दिए. That is violation of section 16 subsection 2 second proviso read with rule 37. Right? That is a separate issue. Your DGGI West Bengal, they issue you fake invoice. मतलब supplier आपका bogus है, investigation छापा हुआ supplier का, supplier मिला ही नहीं. तो आप जो माल खरीदे हो, that is all bogus. There has never been a receipt of goods as per them. This is a second subject matter. Third subject matter, difference between 2 and 3B, which we see every now and then. ASMT 10 has been issued, DRC 01A has been issued by the range officer. Can all of these 3, adjudication proceeding, show cause, investigation, summons, and audit procedure, all of these 3 can coexist at the same time for the same tax period on the same taxpayer? Yes, it can. But as per the latest guidelines which have been issued on 30th of March 2024, last month or last month, in section 01 2023-24, which we will see towards the end, it is advised that the principal commissioner, he coordinates with all of these investigating authorities on different subject matters and says ki if feasible, please, one person take it forward, hand over all your documents to one person, DGGI for instance. The range office hands over, the anti-evasion hands over. So they hand over and one person on all the subject matters they take it forward for ease of business, less harassment, right? We are going to discuss that later. So parallel proceedings, what does it say? Section 6, subsection 2, clause B, extremely important safeguard. What does it say? It says that आपके ऊपर में कोई भी इंक्वायरी स्टार्ट हुआ है समन्स का, इसमें इंक्वायरी और समन्स नहीं लिखते, इसमें बोलते हैं any proceedings have been initiated. It is not inquiry or summons. Later on there is a case law which take the benefit of this. GK trading of Allahabad High Court, I will talk about it. This section says if any proceeding has been initiated, any investigation by a state tax authority on one subject matter, the central tax authority, DGGI, DRI, no other authority of the GST department can issue simultaneous investigation on the same subject matter. ये तो law बोल रहा है, I am not saying that. This needs to be read and vice versa. CGST start किया तो HGST same में नहीं कर सकता, HGST start किया तो CGST same में नहीं कर सकता. This needs to be read with a clarification letter. This is a letter extremely important. यहाँ पर खुद बोलते हैं यहाँ पर कि अगर सेंट्रल आप अगर स्टेट टैक्स आप बेलियाघाटा में आपका ये सेल्स टैक्स में आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन है, you have been assigned administratively under the state department. But the center or DGGI, they have initiated summons or investigation proceedings. Will they have to hand over the documents to the range office? Because you are directly contacting them every day, right? So no requirement to give the documents or hand over the investigation to the jurisdiction office. No. Please continue with the investigation, complete it and come to a logical end. What does this mean? This means कि अगर एक आदमी start किया है, DGGI अगर investigation start किया है, तो आपका एंटी इवेजन, क्या आपका जुरिस्डिक्शनल सुपरिटेंडेंट, क्या आपका ऑडिट पर्टिकुलर कमिश्नरेट, वो टॉपिक पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन या एडजुडिकेशन कैन नॉट बी स्टार्टेड. यू कैन फाइल अ पर्टिकुलर रिट एंड गेट अ स्टे पिटिशन. एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट सेफगार्ड, राइट? नाउ we can see in Kolkata High Court only in RP Bidcon, the center of the page, 3 investigations were started at the same time. Already audit commissionerate had issued audit under section 65 on a particular matter. देखते हैं एक महीना बाद में सेम मैटर पे एंटी इवेजन एंड रेंज ऑफिस भी घुस गए. 3 जन लोग इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है सेम टॉपिक पे, सेम साल पे, सेम आदमी पे. ये मजाक है क्या? So this particular writ was filed and this RP Bidcon case, it was mentioned no. If a person under section 6 subsection 2 clause we read with that letter, it is law कि एक सब्जेक्ट मैटर पे प्लीज एक ही आदमी कंटिन्यू करो. बट एज आई सेड सर 3 डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट मैटर है, नो ओवरलैपिंग, नो इंटरसेक्शन. It can be. But as per the latest CBSE guideline, it is advised by the Principal Commissioner to coordinate and to ensure one investigation agency takes it forward. Right? Now, there I have mentioned these particular, I have already seen, I have mentioned 10-15 case laws here, positive, which are, all these things which I have mentioned, all of these are case laws. Okay? कि एक आदमी start किया, दूसरा interfere नहीं कर सकता है, stay order आ गया and all those things. So it's all been mentioned here. You can go through these. And you can use this as a safeguard in any of the replies if you receive any simultaneous investigation summons or anything like that. Now, let us discuss GK Trading Company. As I mentioned, sir, section 70 subsection 1, what did that say? Inquiry, proceeding का word use नहीं है. सेक्शन 6 सबसेक्शन 2 क्लॉज बी जो बोलता है कि एक आदमी अगर इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहा है तो दूसरा आदमी नहीं कर सकता, उसमें वर्डिंग यूज किया प्रोसीडिंग। इफ वन प्रोसीडिंग इज ऑनगोइंग बाय अ स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट, सेंट्रल डिपार्टमेंट कैन नॉट इनिशिएट अनदर प्रोसीडिंग ऑन द सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर। तो अब ये केस लॉ में व्हाट आर दे सेइंग, द स्टेट अथॉरिटी हैड इशूड समन्स अंडर सेक्शन 70 सबसेक्शन 1, प्रोसीडिंग्स वर गोइंग ऑन, समन्स इंक्वायरी फिर प्रोसीडिंग्स चल रहे हैं, ठीक है। अनदर state, the central tax authority on the same subject matter, mostly same, they issue another summons. Now it is at the summons level, so it is an inquiry. As per this case law they say that sir wo to proceeding hai, this is to inquiry. The CGST department which they have issued the summon, that is inquiry. So the ongoing proceeding is what is happening with the SGST department. So an inquiry and a proceeding can coexist, but a proceeding and proceeding cannot coexist. What is this? So here it is mentioned the word inquiry in section 70 in summons is not synonymous with the word proceedings under section 6 subsection 2 clause B. तो इसका कोई benefit मिला नहीं है, मतलब कि स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट भी घुस गया, सेंट्रल डिपार्टमेंट भी घुस गया है, वो बोल करके कि हम समन्स लेवल पे है, वो बोल करके हम इन्वेस्टिगेशन लेवल पे है. So this is one adverse case law here. Now as we have been talking about the recent guidelines, now recent guidelines they came out on 30th of March 2024, just last month, right? So here instruction number 01/2023-24 they mentioned that in certain sensitive cases, cases of national importance, cases of multinational companies, cases of where there is no fraud, there is classification issue or levy for the first time, in those cases, or if a matter is disputed and before GST Council, in those cases please take the approval of the highest officer, the principal zonal chief commissioner. As per this circular, every investigation, not summons, investigation has to be started with the prior approval of the principal commissioner or commissioner. But in these cases, because these are of national importance or a very big scale, so you have to take prior written approval of the zonal principal chief commissioner. This second part is very important, which I mentioned. 3-4 investigations are happening, audit is happening, everything on different subject matters. The principal commissioner can coordinate between all of these investigating authorities and if feasible can say कि सर आप लोग सब अपना पेपर दे दो आप DGGI को या आप लोग रेंज ऑफिस को दे दो NOC लेकर के 1% will investigate sir, because 3 जगह 4 जगह रिप्लाई करना धंधा कब करेंगे? So this is for ease of business, getting transparency and accountability for in all these investigation procedures and all. If you start an investigation or plan to start an investigation against a listed company, against a government company, against a particular authority which is established by the parliament or any other corporation of like nature, then don't issue summons, because these are big companies and government companies. Issue a letter to the designated authority. They are saying that please do not ensure that the summons is not vague. Summon mentions that what is it investigating. Summon mentions the name of the person against whom the investigation is initiated. Summon mentions the role in which you are going to come to for summons, right? Summon should have been, as I already mentioned earlier, summon should not be a roving inquiry. There should be credible evidence earlier. इन्वेस्टिगेशन सर क्या होता था पहले 3-4 साल, पैसा पहले ले लिए 50-60 लाख रुपया ले लिए इन्वेस्टिगेशन सर्च सीजन में, 3 साल गायब. 3-4 years, there is no limit. 3-4 years कंटिन्यू हो रहा है, कोई रिस्पॉन्स ही नहीं है. They have said in this 1 year, advisable 1 year, please complete your investigation 1 year. Investigation is not for recovery. Investigation is to ensure adjudication proceedings start for recovery. आप 3-3 साल लोगे इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तो हम लोग पैसा कब लोगे लेंगे हम लोग, right? So these things have been issued, mentioned. Now what we see practically during investigations, adjudication, during recovery and all, many cases there is a power with the commissioner if he has reasons to believe that again that there is some particular some interest of the revenue has to be safeguarded. So they can issue an order and they can attach your bank statement, your bank account, they can attach any other property also. This is as per your section 83 read with rule 159. So एक ऑर्डर इशू करते हैं कमिश्नर इन DRC 22, बोलते हैं आपका जो बैंक अकाउंट है उसको फ्रीज कर देंगे, 1 साल के लिए मैक्सिमम कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज we have full evidence, we have reasons to believe that you have fraudulent IDC, you have engaged in some sort of these fraudulent activities and all that. So अब क्या होता है सर, as per section 83 subsection 2 लॉ में लिखा है, नो अमेंडमेंट पहले से लिखा हुआ है, 1 साल तक validity रहेगा. The order in DRC 22 will have effect up to only 1 year from the date of issuing of the order. After that it will cease to have effect. पहले रूल में क्या लिखा हुआ था अंडर सेक्शन 1 अंडर रूल 159, प्लीज गेट द रिटन ऑर्डर इन DRC 23 फ्रॉम द कमिश्नर. give it to your bank, then they will unfreeze. सर 6 महीना हो रहा है, रोज राउंड मारता हूँ, वो कमिश्नर अवेलेबल नहीं है, he is not cooperating. 1 साल निकल गया, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है to go for it. I am being harassed. बैंक की फ्रीज है, कहाँ से धंधा करेंगे? So this has been amended. Rule 159 subsection 2, it has been amended. They are saying under 2 situations your bank account can be unfrozen or any property. First thing is written order after 1 year or even before 1 year if you can prove to the particular commissioner. But mostly after 1 year. After 1 year, a written order. If he is cooperative, he gives you on the 1 year month day. Or if he does not give an order, automatic restoration of provisionally attached property. You can go to your bank authority and you can say, sir, no order, no requirement. This is the law now. Rule 159 sub rule 2, and this has become notified. This is law now. This was earlier proposed in 52nd GST Council meeting. Then it has been notified from 26th of October 2023. Automatic restoration of provisionally attached property after the end of 1 year. 366th day from the date of attachment, it can be unfrozen. Very important. Now, sir, do we know that there is a facility to make payment of GST in installments? Sir, पैसा नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है काम चलाने में. 3B फाइल करने के लिए कोई सहूलियत नहीं है. 3B में आपका 100 रुपये आ रहा है तो यू हैव टू मेक दैट 100 रुपीज पेमेंट. ये तो हर आदमी पूरा इंडिया चला जाएगा इंस्टॉलमेंट में, सर पैसा नहीं है. नो, फॉर 3B मीन सेल्फ असेस्ड टैक्स अंडर एनी रिटर्न 3B, उसमें ये सहूलियत नहीं है. यू हैव टू मेक द फुल पेमेंट. बट इफ देयर इज एनी ऑर्डर, 3 months are there, as I told you under section 78, for you to make payment within 3 months. उसके बाद में recovery proceedings start हो जाता है 79 नीलामी. But for those 3 months, if recovery proceedings have not started, you have an option to go to the commissioner, jurisdictional commissioner, under section 80, and you can apply this in DRC 20. Online you can apply and you can upload आपका जितना भी financial problem है. Sir, I am financially unable to make the payment now. I have intention to pay. बट सर कुछ सहूलियत दीजिए प्लीज. इधर एक्सटेंड माई टाइम टू मेक दी पेमेंट. 3 महीना से नहीं होएगा सर, 3 महीना खत्म होने वाला 10 दिन में, पैसा नहीं है. व्हाट विल आई विल नॉट, आई डोंट वांट यू नो ऑल ऑफ दीज प्रॉब्लम्स. रिकवरी प्रोसीडिंग, आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग यू सर, प्लीज कंसिडर माई, दिस माई बैलेंस शीट, दिस माई PL, दिस माई दिस थिंग. So the commissioner sees this DRC 20 application, calls for a report from the range office, evaluates, examines all the evidence and then says कि ठीक है, मैक्सिमम तो लॉ 24 मंथ्स का EMI बोलता है. EMI मतलब कि मंथली इंस्टॉलमेंट्स. ओके, 24 मंथ्स मैक्सिमम. बट आपका इतना बुरा हालत नहीं है तो 9 months में आप पेमेंट करो. बट स्टिल 9 months he gets, that's a lot of time. But you have to make payment of interest 18%. You have to make late fees payment. But for instance, if the time limit every month, for instance, this commissioner says from the 1st to the 5th of the next month make the payment, and if you do not make the payment on the 5th month you default. So after that the entire amount which is outstanding becomes liable to be paid right then. And again the section 79 recovery proceedings are initiated without a notice, without any order, without you even coming to know. They can attach your bank statement, bank account, right? So who are those people who can't apply? Everyone can apply. Only 3 cases they can't apply. If the tax amount is less than 25,000, sir 25,000 तो मैनेज कर लीजिए, right? That is first case. Second is if that particular person 3 महीना निकल गया, recovery proceedings are on. So how can you apply for this right now? 3 महीना के अंदर करना है ना. So section 79 तो already recovery proceedings start हो गए. You are a defaulter, sir. How can you ask for a relief now? Third case, पिछला साल में आपका if you were not allowed to make payment through installments. If you had applied and been rejected, ये साल भी आपको available नहीं होएगा. Now there are few this is a discretionary part. Let me explain. This does not have any principle of natural justice कि आप बोलेंगे कि हम अपील कर पाएंगे इसको. No, it is not appealable because it's discretionary part of the commissioner, right? And this is usually no opportunity of hearing is also there. You can go voluntarily visit. But sir, there are few case laws during COVID. There is a Kerala High Court judgment, exceptional case law. 3B का भी पेमेंट इंस्टॉलमेंट में बोला कर दो कोविड की वजह से. 18-19 का 6 महीना का पेमेंट नहीं किए, they were allowed to make payment in 8 to 9 installments in 2021, citing financial difficulties due to COVID. But let's not take that precedence, that is not allowed. Now, in case if you have an order which comes out in DRC 01, your notices are there, DRC 06 order comes out, interest, you have not paid the interest for belated filing of GST or 3B, you have made late payment of GST. So that interest amount बहुत बड़ा भी बन सकता है. So that interest amount you have not paid. Can that interest amount be paid by taking ये सहूलियत 3 महीना का मतलब कि जो these monthly installments or extension, no, you cannot, because this interest liability is the result of self-assessment of GST R3B. This is not tax, but it is the nature of a tax, and it has been determined from GST R3B self-assessment. So you cannot. All these are case laws which I mentioned. Now, so draconian, no order, no reason provided, no show cause notice, nothing. I see tomorrow, I wake up, I see a particular message from the department, and I see on my portal, electronic credit ledger blocked. This amount has been blocked in my electronic credit ledger, and there is no reason which has been provided. एक सिर्फ intimation message में कर दी है, which we are going to see. Rule 86, Rule 86A, extremely draconian. What does this mean? Any commissioner, not a commissioner authorized or authorized officer not below ACDC, assistant commissioner, joint commissioner, commissioner, these 3 people, they, if they have reasons to believe कि मेरा जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर है उसमें fraudulent ITC पड़ा हुआ है, means my supplier has issued me fake invoice and I have availed that, and it is ineligible due to these 4 grounds which we are going to discuss. वापस से समझते हैं. रीजन टू बिलीव है, ये 4 ग्राउंड्स है, फेक इनवॉइसिंग है, पेमेंट नहीं किया एक्सेट्रा, एंड इफ there is any element, if I have reason to believe that this taxpayer has any fraudulent ITC in his ledger, I will block it. I will ensure that he is unable to pass it further, or he is unable to use it against any output tax liability, right? So if he has reasons to believe, for this is also for maximum of 1 year, only for 1 year. order नहीं है, सिर्फ mention करती है कि we are blocking your ITC, but पूरा ITC ब्लॉक नहीं कर सकते हैं ना. मेरा 1 करोड़ पैसा बचा होगा, लेकिन मैंने फ्रॉड अगर कुछ भी अलीज कर रही है 10,000 रुपया का, फॉर इंस्टेंस 10 लाख रुपया का, they will block around amount 10 lakh rupees, not 1 crore rupees entire, right? So after 1 year, ideally this should be unblocked. Then again the same majra, same problem. It is not getting unblocked. You have to file writ petitions, right? So here, what are the grounds? मैंने what did I say? Commissioner has reasons to believe कि fraudulent ITC मेरे पास में मैं avail करके रखा हूँ, लेकिन fraudulent ITC क्या चीज से आया है? What are the activities? What are the reasons to believe? किसके ऊपर बेस है? These things. First thing, the same चीज है सर जो अभी हम अपने डिस्कस किए. सप्लायर फेक है, सप्लायर को जज कर दिए फेक, मेरा ट्रांजैक्शन फेक नहीं है, सप्लायर इज फेक. इफ सप्लायर हैज बीन एडजस्ट फेक, जितना भी आदमी लोग वो माल खरीदा वो सप्लायर से, सबका आईटीसी ब्लॉक कर सकते हैं आइडियली, राइट? सेकंड केस, आईटीसी इज अवेल्ड ऑन इनवॉइसेस विदाउट एक्चुअली रिसीविंग गुड्स. मैंने आईटीसी ये सभी फेक इनवॉइसेस पे क्लेम किया है. पहले तो मेरा सप्लायर मेरा इनवॉइस पे हो सकता है करेक्ट हो, लेकिन वो एडजस्ट हो गया बोगस, तो वो एडजस्ट हो गया बोगस, तो मेरा आईटीसी ब्लॉक हो सकता है. I have no control over that supplier. So in that first case. Second case, if fake invoice I have received and I have claimed input tax credit, my ITC can be blocked. Third is ITC is availed on invoices the tax for which has not been paid. So सबसे contested issue, section 16 subsection 2 clause C. मैंने पेमेंट किया सप्लायर को, सप्लायर has not filed his 3B, बिजनेस खत्म कर दिया, बंद कर दिया, is not paid the tax to the government. Doctrine of impossibility. How can I catch my supplier? But we are receiving notices. That is also one of the cases, and I have mentioned very landmark case laws how to safeguard ourselves and reply to such particular notices, right? Fourth is person claiming ITC means me is found to be, मेरा कोई धंधा ही नहीं है, I myself am a fake person. In that case, my ITC can be blocked, ledger can be blocked. And fourth is if I am claiming input tax credit and there is no substantiation, no invoice as per Rule 36. In that case also it can be blocked. Now, if you issue this particular restriction on blocking of input tax credit, the ledger for at least for maximum of 1 year, it is a very big thing, sir. सब पेमेंट करना है जो भी धंधा का कैश लेजर से करना है. अरे वर्किंग कैपिटल कहाँ से आएगा? 1 करोड़ रुपया फंसा हुआ मेरा क्रेडिट लेजर में. Is it some kind of a joke? So it's a very serious issue, and it should be considered as a serious issue and considered like that by the commissioner. तो बहुत ठोस सबूत होना चाहिए with proper application of mind, objective evidences, all of those things, then he can issue that particular restriction. You should see all that particular evidence and everything. Now what are the monetary limits? 1 करोड़ के नीचे का fraudulent ITC alleged है, so ACDC can also do. 1 करोड़ से 5 करोड़ के बीच का है, additional commissioner can do. More than 5 crores, so commissioner can do. Now during audit, sir, be careful. आपको audit लगा है, departmental audit under section 65. आप कोई भी फेक इनवॉइस नहीं किया, लेकिन आपका सप्लायर कोई भी पकड़ में आ गया, वो नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट है, बोगस है, योर आईटीसी कैन बी ब्लॉक्ड because your audit commissionerate may refer this case to the jurisdictional commissionerate and say this, please examine, this may be a case fit under your rule 86A. ये पैसा मार करके निकल जाएगा, वो आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. You please block this right now for at least 1 year, then we will do adjudication. But please right now block it. So this can also happen through an audit also. Please know your supplier. Please know your supplier. You need to ensure this has become, because all these case laws which I am mentioning, they are either pending in special leave petition also in before the Supreme Court. No final verdict has come out. So he contest होते जा रहा है, appeal में होते जा रहा है, and GST tribunal has also not been formed yet, right? So ये सब बहुत genuine issues है. ITC amount block should not be more. वैसे मैंने बोला कि 1 करोड़ रुपया पूरा पड़ा हुआ है, वो पूरा 1 करोड़ नहीं ब्लॉक करना है. Sir, जितना amount which you believe has been claimed fraudulently, please block that particular amount. Sir, this is a temporary measure. ये recovery नहीं है. अगर ये recovery हो जाए तो adjudication proceeding ही क्यों करना है? उसको feel हुआ, वो block कर दिया, वो पैसा reverse कर दिया. ये कोई is this some sort of a joke or something? So this is a temporary measure. I am blocking, debiting my electronic credit ledger. The officer is doing that, but it is a temporary measure. This has to be uplifted after 1 year. Adjudication has to be started, and then that particular adjudication can take its course, right? So please ensure that here the ITC block this particular amount. It is also mentioned. It is communicated by SMS, by email. It is also mentioned in your particular portal. See, this is the what electronic credit ledger in between. They have debited blocked. They have written 10,000, 20,000, 20,000 because they feel this 50,000 rupees आप चोरी से इसको claim की है. So only they block that. They have not blocked the entire amount. And they have given the details of the officer who has blocked it. Please visit your jurisdictional office. Right? Now, sir, this case again, what is the safeguard? Sir, block हो गया, धंधा कैसे करेंगे? मर जाएंगे. तो again 1 year. Sir, 1 year. This can happen only up to 1 year. Rule 86A, sub rule 3. It mentions only up to 1 year. This restriction can have effect. After that, it ceases to have effect. But sir, ये follow हो रहा है क्या? This is not being followed. There are so many case laws. Writs are being filed. Here, also in certain case laws, you can see Karnataka High Court, Delhi High Court, Karnataka High Court in Aryan Trade Link. Sir, the department is saying, sir, क्या है? रहने दीजिए ना सर. 1 साल का बात है. हम लोग तो शो कॉज अभी इशू करने वाले हैं ना 3 महीना बाद में 15 मंथ में. इसको रहने दीजिए सर. हम लोग 18 महीना पे हम लोग फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ ब्लॉकिंग वी विल इशू अ डिमांड ऑर्डर. ये जो ब्लॉक किए ना सर सेट ऑफ कर दीजिए. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. व्हाट इज दिस? You have blocked it as a temporary measure. Please understand your safeguard. Even if an adjudication proceeding has not been initiated, demand has been issued on the 11th month, 29th day also. It will be unblocked on the 12th month. Means the finishing of the 12th month. It will not be appropriated. No. It does not matter adjudication, investigation on है क्या नहीं है. This is only a temporary measure for maximum 1 year. Right? There are case laws which I mentioned here. Sir, I don't know the reason. मेरे पास से message आया block हो गया और एक supplier का नाम है. Case laws are there. Only one supplier name is there, and my account has been blocked. No order, no show cause, nothing, no reason also. So this rule is draconian. That's what I'm saying. Principle of natural justice is entirely violated. So this rule does not even warrant a personal hearing. Does not warrant to even communicate by notice. But the case laws here in Madras High Court and all other case laws they mention, at least mention the reasons. See in the next slide here, it is mentioned that, sir, your ITC has been blocked because of 2A 3B mismatch. So at least reason I know, right? I can go to the jurisdiction department, get all my submissions and go there and I can contest that, right? So you need to mention the reasons, right? These are principles of natural justice. Now, sir, extremely important last year paragraph of this page, it mentions when there is any blocking of ITC due to ITC mismatches between 2A 3B for 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22 up to 1st of January 2022, after which it became a law that 2B follow होएगा. उसके पहले तक 2B का follow का नहीं बात था. It was just a rule 36 of rule 4 which is contested. In those cases, even in those cases where the supplier has not paid the tax, he has collected the tax, बैठ गया. Though these two cases 2A 3B mismatch and इस cases में भी ITC is being blocked. So here there are so many case laws which I mentioned, more than 10 case laws, and we submit this in appeals. They're extremely important, where we say that as per Suncraft, you guys must have heard Suncraft Energy, Calcutta High Court, landmark judgment, upheld by the Supreme Court, said that, sir, supplier ने पैसा payment नहीं किया है. तो the Supreme Court, here Calcutta High Court, they say, please only in exceptional situations of collusion between the supplier and the particular buyer, or when the supplier is absconding, missing, business has shut down, no assets, is dead, only in those cases please come back to the buyer and ask him to reverse. प्लीज डू नॉट ऑटोमेटिकली गो टू दी बायर, हो वो सप्लायर पैसा मार लिया, डिफॉल्टिंग है, उसको कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं करना है, लेट्स कैच द इजी टारगेट, हु इज द कंप्लायंट. नो, आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेड द पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स टू द सप्लायर, व्हाई शुड आई अगेन रिवर्स माय आईटीसी? तो डबल वामी हो जाएगा. Please catch the supplier first, start investigation, do recovery proceedings, then if assets are not there, then you may come to be. So also doctrine of impossibility, so held in so many case laws here. Arise in case like KK Industry, DY Bethel, all these they are saying a man cannot be compelled to do something which is impossible. I will sit at my supplier's office धंधा वंधा बंद करके and I will see कि 3B में कितना अमाउंट फाइल किया है, 3B फाइल भी किया है कि टाइम से फाइल किया है, और 3B there is no breakup. 100 रुपए का सेल किया है, इनपुट जो भी क्लेम किया, इनपुट हो सकता है गलत क्लेम किया, और 100 रुपए का जो पेमेंट कर रहा है, has that been collected from me or other 99 of his customers? There is no breakup. There is no means for me to check whether he has collected the amount which is collected is actually paid or not. धंधा करे कि ये सब करे. So doctrine of impossibility, it has been contested in so many case laws, right? So these we can use. Now arrest and bail provisions. Now arrest and bail provisions, let us understand, is extremely important. अपने को सबसे ज़्यादा डर किससे लगता है? जेल से. नहीं जाना भाई जेल मेरे को. We need to understand at least the basic concepts and our safeguards during these arrest bail provisions, right? Now first we need to understand what is cognizable, what is non-cognizable. These are basic terms under your criminal code. What is bailable, non-bailable? Cognizable मतलब भारी, जो मतलब कि कुछ बहुत बुरा आप किए, बहुत बड़ा कुछ किए, grave and serious matter, for which a police officer under criminal, not GST में police officer नहीं आता, under criminal code he does not need a warrant, आपको उठा के लेके जा सकता है. What is non-cognizable? It is not that serious, he needs a warrant. Same thing with bailable. For bailable offense, sir, thoda come less grave it is. So what is, sir, try to understand this concept is very important. What is bail here? If in a bailable offense which is a non-cognizable and bailable offense, what does that mean? That means that you have the right to get bail without even going to the magistrate within 24 hours of your arrest by fulfilling 4 to 5 bail conditions. First condition under GST, which we are going to see later, I have to give personal surety or bond of a particular amount. इतना का GST evasion की है 50%, या जो भी है, whatever, you know, as decided as per facts and matters of the case, as per the financial ability. First thing, give a bond. Second case, कोई local person of repute also gives a particular surety, guaranteeing this. Third, you cannot leave the country without the permission of the officer. Fourth, you have to appear in front of the investigating authority whenever you are asked to. If you satisfy all of this, this is written, signed, and you can get bail. Where you don't even have to go to the court. No, it is a right. You fulfill all of that, you give your bail surety and all that, you fulfill all this, you get bail. In which cases, bailable and non-cognizable offences. We are going to see which are those offences in GST. Second is non-bailable and cognizable. बहुत बड़ा, 5 करोड़ से ऊपर का GST का हम लोग घोटाला कर दिए. So we are going to see, you know, those and your cognizable and non-bailable offense. Means non-bailable का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपको bail ही नहीं मिलेगा, आप सड़ते रहेंगे जेल में. No, non-bailable means you don't have an automatic right to apply for bail. You have to be mandatorily taken by the police officer or here the particular proper officer ECTC to within 24 hours to the particular judicial magistrate, and he will decide on the facts and matter of the case on several factors which we are going to discuss whether you deserve a bail or not. There are 2 options under GST law. Not in criminal procedure code. There are 3 options which are available with the judicial magistrate. First is judicial custody, मतलब jail. Second is police custody for further interrogation, and third is bail. Under GST arrest, there are 2 options. One is judicial custody, that is jail, and second is your bail. There is no police custody. Police क्या करेगा आपको रख के, right? So now under these are the basic terms under section 69 of GST Act. Let's try to understand. 4 मोटा condition है जो आप जुर्माना करोगे स्पेसिफाइड ऑफेंसेस, जो सेम है जो पहले आपने पढ़े. वी आर गोइंग टू गो थ्रू दैट. इफ यू डू एनी ऑफ दोज ऑफेंसेस एंड इफ योर GST इवेजन और योर फ्रॉडुलेंट ITC which you have claimed is more than 5 crore rupees, you can be apprehended and arrest memo can be issued if reasons to believe are there by the commissioner without even adjudication, without any recovery, right at the summons or after summons or during inspection. First what happens, inspection happens, then summon is issued, they take your evidence and immediately they can आपको उठा सकते हैं by issuing a particular arrest memo if they have clear cogent evidence that आप GST का घोटाला 5 करोड़ के ऊपर किए. So that in that case it is a non-bailable and cognizable offense. Try to understand. Non-bailable, cognizable offense. What does that mean? कि आप 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का घोटाला किए हो, ये सब 4 इंस्टेंसेस में, तो आपको जुडिशियल मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने तो जाना ही होगा. 5 करोड़ के नीचे का घोटाला आप किए हो, all cases under GST, you can be arrested if you have done a घोटाला of 2 crores to 5 crores. 2 करोड़ के नीचे का भी घोटाला करते हैं तभी भी आपको अरेस्ट नहीं कर सकते. 2 करोड़ से 5 करोड़ का घोटाला किया अरेस्ट कर सकते हैं इमीडिएटली. 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का घोटाला किए तो कर सकते हैं इमीडिएटली अरेस्ट. लेकिन 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का करती है तो नॉन बेलेबल एंड कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस, मतलब जुडिशियल मजिस्ट्रेट विल डिसाइड योर बेल. बट 5 करोड़ के नीचे का घोटाला करते हैं अप टू 2 crores, तो इट इज अ व्हाट इज इट? इट इज अ नॉन कॉग्निजेबल एंड बेलेबल ऑफेंस. सर 4-5 कंडीशन फुलफिल करके सीधा निकलेंगे हम लोग. राइट, दिस इज फॉर द फर्स्ट ऑफेंडर. सर आदत हो गया, वापस से सेम ऑफेंस किया हूं मैं, और एनी अदर ऑफेंस अंडर सेक्शन 132 सबसेक्शन 1. कोई अमाउंट नहीं देखना है, नो अमाउंट. यू आर गोइंग टू बी चार्ज्ड विद कॉग्निजेबल एंड नॉन बेलेबल अगर आप बार बार सेम चीज करते हो सेकंड टाइम और मूविंग अहेड. तो ये जो फर्स्ट वाला जो मैं 5 करोड़ के ऊपर जो बोल रहा हूँ, वापस लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड. 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का ऑफेंस है नॉन बेलेबल कॉग्निजेबल, मजिस्ट्रेट से मिलेगा अपने को 24 आवर्स में प्रेजेंट करना पड़ेगा, ही विल डिसाइड. 5 करोड़ के नीचे का घोटाला है 2 करोड़ तक, तो आई कैन विल बी अरेस्टेड, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. एडजुडिकेशन बाद में तो अरेस्ट कर सकते, उठा सकते हैं मेरे को, लेकिन बेलेबल है सर. आई विल डू दी पर्टिकुलर थिंग और मैं निकल सकता हूँ. 1 करोड़ के नीचे का है, फेक इनवॉइसिंग में कर रहा हूँ, अरेस्ट नहीं कर. 2 करोड़ के नीचे का अरेस्ट नहीं कर सकता. फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस, नॉट दी रिपीट ऑफेंडर. रिपीट ऑफेंडर में तो आपको उठा सकते हैं. 2 करोड़ के नीचे का आप घोटाला करते हो, किसका घोटाला? ये 4 जो सिचुएशन में भी डिस्कस करूंगा. 2 करोड़ के नीचे का आप करते हो, प्रोसिक्यूशन होगा आपके अगेंस्ट. 2 करोड़ के 1 करोड़ के पीछे का प्रोसिक्यूशन होगा, लेकिन एडजुडिकेशन होने के बाद में, रिकवरी के टाइम में. 1 करोड़ के नीचे का घोटाला करते हो तो कोई प्रोसिक्यूशन नहीं होगा, छोटा घोटाला. ठीक है, तो व्हाट आर दीस 4 कंडीशन? सर मैंने एक 4 गलतियां ऐसा क्या की है जिसका ये 5 करोड़ 2 करोड़ का जो मैं उदाहरण दे रहा हूं. पहला गलती, एनी पर्सन हु इज अ टैक्स पेयर, और इवन इफ ही इज नॉट अ टैक्स पेयर, मैं टैक्स पेयर नहीं हूं, आई एम द किंग पिन मास्टरमाइंड, मेरा ड्राइवर है टैक्स पेयर. तो पहले लॉ में था कि सिर्फ टैक्स पेयर को पकड़ सकते हैं, मास्टरमाइंड निकल जाता था. नाउ हियर इट इज मेंशन्ड whoever commits or causes to commit, mastermind causes to commit, abet, help and retains the benefit. So taxpayer plus the person who has abetted, who has helped, both of them they can be apprehended and arrested. Under which situation? 4 है, section 132 subsection 1 clause A, B, C, D, very important section. Section 132 subsection 1 clause A, B, C, D, right? Clause A क्या बोलता है? सेम चीज है सर. सप्लाईज करिए, कच्चा का बिल है, बिल इशू नहीं किए, माल सेल कर दिए, टैक्स नहीं दिखाना है, टर्नओवर नहीं दिखाना है, टाली में एंट्री नहीं मारी. I have evaded tax of that particular amount of sale because I have not issued an invoice. सेकेंड केस, फेक इनवॉइसिंग, माल ही नहीं दिए, सिर्फ इनवॉइस देते जा रहे हैं, ऑपोजिट जो अपने अभी which we saw all those cases. Third case, I am the recipient, I am taking fraudulent ITC on these fake invoices, or if I am claiming input जिसका कोई invoice ही नहीं है, under rule 36. Fourth is पैसा, the supplier has taken cash, taken tax, and for 3 months he has not paid to the government. These 4 cases, there are grave cases, बहुत सीरियस माना जाता है सर इसको, और 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का तो बहुत ज्यादा ही सीरियस माना जाता है, मीन नॉन बेलेबल एंड कॉग्निजेबल. ये 4 केस, आप अगर फेक इनवॉइसिंग करते हो, आप अगर सेल करते हो विदाउट एनी इनवॉइस, अगर आप इनपुट अवेल करते हो विच इज फ्रॉडुलेंट, और 4th केस अगर आप गवर्नमेंट का पैसा मार करके बैठे हो 3 महीना से ऊपर, तो इन एनी ऑफ दीज 4 केसेस अंडर सेक्शन 132 सबसेक्शन 1 क्लॉज A, B, C, D, 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का अगर है तो इट कम्स एज क्लॉज 1 अंडर सबसेक्शन 1 ऑफ सेक्शन 132. सेकंड, 2 करोड़ से 5 करोड़ क्लॉज 2, एंड सबसेक्शन 2 होता है रिपीट ऑफेंडर. ये 3 केसेस, रिपीट ऑफेंडर एनी अमाउंट, 5 करोड़ के ऊपर वाला आदमी और 2 करोड़ से 5 करोड़ वाला आदमी अरेस्ट हो सकता है इन एनी ऑफ दीज 4 केसेस. सर 180 दिन तक पेमेंट नहीं किया, सप्लायर को अरेस्ट कर देंगे? नो, ही कैन नॉट, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट कवर्ड अंडर 132. सर 2A 3B का डिफरेंस है, सर अरेस्ट कर सकते हैं? नो, ही कैन चार्ज अ पेनल्टी ऑन यू. अरे सर 1 करोड़ के नीचे का भी तो फेक इनवॉइसिंग करे तो अरेस्ट भी नहीं कर सकते, उसमें प्रोसिक्यूशन भी नहीं कर सकते. 2 करोड़ के नीचे का भी घोटाला आप करते हो तभी भी अरेस्ट उस टाइम नहीं कर सकते हो, प्रोसिक्यूशन होएगा एडजुडिकेशन के टाइम में. दीज आर द सेफगार्ड्स व्हिच वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ रीजन टू बिलीव, जैसे मैं बोला कि देयर शुड बी अ प्रॉपर एविडेंस, देयर शुड बी it should not be subjective, it should be objective, there should be proper evidence, it should not be on surmises, conjectures, gossips, वो सब चीज नहीं चलेगा. Proper written evidence in your file with the investigation, all of those summons and all of those statements. एक मोटा कुत्ता होना चाहिए आपका लिखा हुआ कमिश्नर के पास में. Then सब लीगल ग्राउंड्स देखना चाहिए उसको. सेक्शन 132 का ग्राउंड कवर्ड है? यस कवर्ड है. सेक्शन 69 में has he authorized any officer? Yes, properly it's covered. So all of those things are required. So here there's Tata Chemical here Supreme Court judgment where it is mentioned that it cannot be a rumor, suspicion, it needs to be proper evidence, right? Now, sir, ये arrest memo क्या होता है? हम लोगों को नहीं पता है, तो सिर्फ भाषण आप दे रहे हो. Arrest memo, I will show what is an arrest memo. It has to be prescribed in a particular format. Sir, arrest memo में सब evidence दे दे क्या उसको? हम उसको पकड़ने जा रही है, हम बोलेंगे सर मेरे पास में 100 पेज का evidence है which I have assimilated from all my investigation for the last 6 months. Am I duty bound as a commissioner or any authorized officer under commissioner to give that entire gupta of evidence at the time of arrest? No. I will just explain the basic ground of arrest, the section which is invoked. Section 132 subsection 1 clause A में आपको पकड़ रही है, B में पकड़ रही है, C में पकड़ रही है, D में पकड़ रही है, और basic ground which I am going to mention in the arrest memo which we are going to see. So there is a particular case law also which is in PV Ramana Reddy, Telangana High Court. It is mentioned it is enough to have reasons written in a file than to show it and explain everything in detail or give it to the person arrested. No, it is not required. Magistrate को दीजिए ना आप 24 घंटा बाद में, बेल नहीं देना इसको. प्रोसिक्यूशन चार्जशीट फाइल करना है, चार्जशीट नहीं होता, प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट, प्रोसिक्यूशन कंप्लेंट 60 डेज में फाइल करना है, तो वहां पर यूज करो आप. अरेस्ट के टाइम में उसको इतना भाषणबाजी नहीं देने का है. वी डोंट हैव टू. Right? Now, reason to believe, as I said, it is not necessary to communicate the same in writing to the person arrested. Right? There are divergent case laws also, but this is the settled law. Now, same must be written in writing in files at least. आप उसको बोलोगे नहीं, दोगे नहीं, लेकिन फाइल में होना चाहिए आपको. It should not be, the reasons to believe should not be based on opinion. We've discussed all of this, right? Credible material होना चाहिए. There should be grounds which are mentioned, right? Now, guidelines. All this is law. Lekin to regulate it, where are the SOPs? These are the guidelines issued by the CBIC for arrest. Sir, very important. They are saying to the commissioner, sir, legally सब आप fulfill कर लियो. Round है, हाँ. 5 करोड़ का evasion किया, हाँ. 2 करोड़ का evasion किया, हाँ. 2.5 करोड़ का किया, हाँ. ठीक है. ये चारों ground है, हाँ. ठीक है. Authorize आप कियो 69 में proper officer को, ठीक है. All of those things are fine. Legal obligations are be fulfilled, but whether there is a necessity to catch that person, to arrest that person. Sir, arresting shatters our self-confidence. It is against our freedom, against a constitutional right to freedom. So arresting someone is a very big deal. So do you feel that it is necessary to arrest him? Necessary का मतलब क्या होगा? If I don't arrest him, will he go and will he tamper with the evidence during the investigation? Whether he will intimidate the witnesses, whether he will disrupt the investigation procedure, whether he will actually be available for summons कि भाग जाएगा. Whether it is a cognizable or a non-bailable offence, 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का है क्या नहीं है, whether it is a benami transaction, whether he is the kingpin, whether he is a repeat offender, all of these factors are seen. And with legal obligation fulfilled, section 69, right, with section 132 plus necessity as per these particular guidelines, factors, all of that, then you issue an arrest memo, you authorize a junior officer and he goes and he picks him up. If the case involves any offence, specified offence under section 132 subsection 1 clause A, B, C, D, and the offence, tentative offending, the offence, the amount should be more than 2 crores, 2 to 5 crores or more than 5 crores. Then you can be arrested without adjudication also. ये सब जो मैं बोला हूँ, these are very important. Also, mens rea, we word, guilty mind होना चाहिए. मैं भूल से कर दिया, मेरा कोई evasion नहीं है, कोई fraudulent activity नहीं है, भूल से हो गया. अरे सर adjudicate करो ना, arrest क्यों कर रहे हो सर आप उसको? भूल से हुई है सर उसका. You need to see that he has planned it. He has a guilty mind. There is mens rea, so you need to see that. Sir, कौन से केस में arrest नहीं कर सकते हैं? Classification issue. If there is any classification issue, it is not fraudulent. I have not done fake invoicing. It is a classification issue. मेरा इंडस्ट्री में ये prevalent है. I am doing this. मेरे को law, interpretation of law. Those cases don't do arrest, do adjudication. Secondly, I am very cooperative. Summons attended, no evasive reply, given all replies, furnished all documents. I have attended to all summons, given all everything. So in that case, he may not be arrested. Sir, what is the difference between normal murder theft case, criminal in criminal code, and GST arrest? First case, no FIR. In GST there is no FIR. In criminal code there is FIR. यहाँ पर FIR क्या होता है? अरे reasons to be recorded in writing. The commissioner will record the reasons, evidences, and will authorize the junior officer to arrest that person by issuing an arrest memo after all the fulfillment of legal obligation, necessity, everything. That is it. No FIR. Right. Second thing, as I said, there are 3 outcomes in front of the judicial magistrate. First is jail, judicial custody, police custody, and bail for your normal criminal code. In GST, no police custody. Police क्या करेगा? What will police do? There is either jail or you are on bail. Third thing, charge sheet. Sir, within 60 days, in criminal code also, you have to issue a charge sheet. उसमें सब चीज आपका investigation, सब चीज जो भी violations, all the things which you are implicating the person, you have to mention within 60 days. In GST, there is nothing called charge sheet. Private complaint, prosecution complaint. If the person has not got bail, denied bail, then you have to, he cannot be in the jail for more than 60 days. There is default bail. 61st day, he will be out. Default bail. If you have not filed your prosecution complaint within 60 days. Right? So these are few different, this thing. Arresting procedure. Sir, very important. We are going to see this particular format. Sir, arresting procedure. We are going to, what is arrest memo? What is an arrest memo? In that arrest memo, we don't have to mention all the evidence. We just need to mention the basic ground under which we are arresting him and invoke the section 732 subsection 1 A, B, C, D. We need to mention. We need to mention the date and time. We need to mention the fact that he has exercised his right under GST also and criminal code also. What right? To inform his family member, friend, one person he can call and inform, sir, I am being arrested, please come and save me. He has that right. And that right, whether it has been explained to that person and whether he has exercised it, it needs to be mentioned in the arrest memo, yes. Whether the grounds of arrest have been explained to the particular person arrested, yes, tick. Jama talashi, pocket mein mobile phone hai, ye hai, etc. I will write in a piece of paper in front of a witness. I will seal it. I will take the signature of the witnesses. All of those details are to be mentioned here. There is a particular, as I mentioned, instruction 02/2022-23. It mentions arrest memo. It has to be a prescribed format. Din hona chahiye, sir. इसमें भी din नहीं होएगा तो you cannot be arrested. You can challenge it, but they will immediately issue another arrest memo and they will apprehend you. They will let you free. But it needs to be a prescribed format as per this particular circular. Din needs to be there. The copy needs to be, a particular copy of arrest memo needs to be handed over to the person arrested, right? Now, this is, I'm not sure if you guys can see this thing, but when you get the deck out here, you will see there is no place to write the entire full grounds of defenses. Sorry, grounds of arrest. You just need to mention the section and brief ground of arrest. Sir, आपका ये सप्लायर था, ये चोरी किया था, या तो आप टैक्स 3 महीना से ज्यादा पेमेंट नहीं किए, या तो आप फ्रॉडुलेंट आईटीसी लिए हो, या तो आपने इनवॉइसेस इशू किया फेक इनवॉइसेस, या तो आपने कच्चा का माल बेच रही है, उसका बिल ही नहीं कर रही है, राइट? वो समझाना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा, बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं, फुल एविडेंस वी कैन नॉट गिव, राइट? सो दिस इज द पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मेट व्हिच नीड्स टू बी एंटिसिपेटरी बिल. सर, आई नो आई मे हैव डन अ डिफॉल्ट ऑफ मोर देन 5 crore rupees. भूल से, गलती से, फ्रॉडुलेंटली, कि मेरा सप्लायर एक्सेट्रा जो भी है, ऑल दीज केसेस, एनी ऑफ दीज 4 cases which I mentioned, and the amount is more than 5 crores, I am called for summons 2 days later. Can I file for an anticipatory bail? Anticipatory bail means that before they arrest me, I have a particular bail which I can show and I can be free. So there are divergent case laws here. Before the initiation of any inquiry in summon proceedings, can you get an anticipatory bail? Yes, you may, you may not. But you have to give some pre-deposit. You cannot just anticipate a particular anticipatory bail without giving a pre-deposit. But it depends on the facts and circumstances. Regular bail, sir, what is regular bail? Sir, I have done a cognizable non-bailable offence. 5 crore के ऊपर का घोटाला मैंने किया है. Out of these 4 things which I mentioned, fake invoicing, and I have not issued the particular, मतलब कि I have not issued the, I have not supplied the goods. 3 महीना से गवर्नमेंट का पैसा लेके बैठा हुआ, और I have claimed input tax credit which is fraudulently. These 4 cases. So the more than 5 crores. So at that particular point in time, what happens? I am arrested and I am presented before the magistrate. No automatic bail that I will apply and I will get. 24 hours and he will decide. That is regular bail. So the particular judge, magistrate, he will see these particular factors which we've already discussed. Sir, gravity of offence, cognizable है कि non cognizable है, repeat offender है क्या, pre deposit किया है क्या, sir investigation छोड़ दिए तो investigation में बाधा डालेगा क्या, tamper करेगा evidence, can he intimidate people, or what is or the evidences which the government, which the department has, whether it is frivolous, right? All of those things will be seen, and a bail can be granted, or he can be sent to jail. Default bail, as I mentioned, what is default bail? So no charge sheet has been filed after arrest, bail नहीं हुआ after arrest for 60 days. Department is saying इसको रहने दो ना जेल में, क्या है? No, for 60 days you cannot stay more in the jail, more than 60 days. If a charge sheet or a private complaint, prosecution complaint has not been filed, you cannot take the liberty away from the person of freedom. 61st day तक he will be default bail. So this particular case, many times we see this also, the default, a person is out on default bail. Now there are certain case laws. This is the last part, just 2 minutes I will take. There are certain case laws which are favorable, which mention that sir, adjudication proceeding करिए, show cause notice issue करिए, demand आप issue करिए, demand order लाइए, recovery proceeding करिए, फिर prosecution करिए. You cannot arrest a person before adjudication. How can you find him to be, he's accused, he's not guilty. First do adjudication, find him to be guilty, then you can prosecute. So there are many pre-GST and post-GST case laws also. Make my trip, where Supreme Court had adjudged this. It had upheld this, that you cannot arrest a person until and unless adjudication is done, until the charges are framed, until unless prosecution then happens later. There are few case laws which are mentioned here, but sir, we know section 132 subsection 1, it is the proper legislative, right, legislation. So that read with your section 69, right? So these sections, if you have committed वो चार जो मतलब कि जो grave offence which I have mentioned, first is clause A. Clause A is that you are not supplying the goods. Basically, you are supplying the goods without an invoice. Second is you are issuing invoices without any supply of goods. Third is you have claimed input on such fraudulent invoices. And fourth is 3 महीना से आप गवर्नमेंट का पैसा पेमेंट नहीं किए, 5 करोड़ के ऊपर नॉन बेलेबल कॉग्निजेबल, 2 करोड़ से 5 करोड़. So it is, you can still be arrested, but it is non-cognizable and bailable, right? 2 करोड़ के नीचे you cannot be arrested right now. 1 करोड़ के नीचे prosecution ही नहीं होएगा बाद में, right? So those particular cases here, this particular P.V. Ramana Reddy in this Telangana High Court, they mentioned that sir वो सब बात छोड़ दीजिए. Section if 5 करोड़ के ऊपर का गलती करते हो, 2 करोड़ के ऊपर का 132 में आप कोई भी grounds आप specified offence करते हो, you will be arrested sir before trial. You will be arrested before show cause notice is issued. And you have to follow the code of law, right? Also in Vimal Yashwant Giri Goswami, there is a Gujarat High Court judgment. Same thing this is mentioned, that before adjudication proceeding, before issue of show cause notice, you can be arrested by issuing an arrest memo with reasons to believe in these cases, right? So we can go on and on obviously, but I think we've covered a lot of ground. So if any questions anyone has, please ask me. The basic mantra was to at least have basic idea about the practical aspects, the burning litigated issues, our safeguards, case laws, guidelines, understanding what we can do when we are surrounded by unprecedented situations, risky situations like these, right? So kindly please ask questions if anyone has.
Yeah, thank you. Please be seated. Thank you so much for such a any of you, if you have questions, you can please ask it. Please introduce yourself and pose the question. Thank you.
Mr. Tulsian,
Yes.
this is Devesh from Narayani Industry.
This is working.
Hello.
Yeah.
Does it show that the officer issues all the notices or queries or anything via website, or it can also be writing?
Sir, see, like that particular case of Rule 86A, which I mentioned, no order is passed. So only there is no this opportunity of personal hearing and all of those. So in that specific case, your ITC can be blocked, as I said, by just applying that particular rule, right, for 1 year. But apart from that, sir, this question is very vital, because every now and then we are seeing orders, impugned orders, they are being overruled by the courts by saying that the order does not have, it is vague. Principles of natural justice has not been given. What is principle of natural justice? First thing is hearing has not been given, or hearing, if an order has been passed, hearing is two hours later. Yesterday I saw a particular case where 2 hours later you are expected to give a personal hearing. That is not possible. Principles of natural justice means even service of the notice, as sir is asking. So this particular service of the notice, if any ASMT 10 notice is issued, which is a scrutiny of returns. What is scrutiny of returns means? Mathematical discrepancies of 2A, 3B and all that. They will not get into your books. They will not ask for your books. That is for audit under section 65. So in case of ASMT 10, which is scrutiny of notices, we are going to issue you a scrutiny of notice. When you log in your GST portal, there is, in last 6 months, there has been a change in the GST portal. You go to user services. Out there is additional notices, or there is notices and replies. You click on that tab. There are 2 sub-tabs on top. The second sub-tab has all the details of the notices which have been issued. Try to understand, sir. They may ask you to reply within 7 days, 15 days. But sir, as per Rule 99, Section 61, for ASMT 10 notices, you are allowed 30 days by law to make a reply. And you will reply by no interference, no personal whatever meeting, no hearing required for ASMT 10 level. you can reply by ASMT 11 by submitting an online reply. There is word limit of some 200-300 words, so you cannot attach everything, you cannot write everything, you have to attach. First thing. Second thing, audit notice under EDT 01, if that is issued under section 65, how is it issued? By post, by email. It has to be served by post, by email. You will get all the orders also they post. Either so we are chartered accountants and lawyers, we go sir post mat kariye, ho jayega sir, we will come by hand delivery, we will sign, take the stamp of the company, we'll stamp, we'll take the order. The notices are issued also by post, they are uploaded also on the portal. Third thing is your DRC 01A, which is pre-show cause notice, which is again in the nature of your initiation of adjudication. It is not adjudication proceedings initiated. Pre-show cause notice. That is also issued in this tab only. View additional notices and reply. Again, online reply. But here, sir, when you are making the reply, you have an option, tick, personal hearing. I want personal hearing, tick, for your show cause notice. Even if you don't tick that, for show cause notices, you need to be given a personal hearing. Otherwise, it is principle of natural justice is gone. So, service of notice is by email, service of notice is by post, service of notice in cases is by email. These three. Many cases we see CA का पहले का email था, मिला ही नहीं, service भी नहीं हुआ. There are many cases where you have contested that also. That sir, it has not been uploaded on the portal. We have not received email भी नहीं मिला. We don't even know. Order निकल गया, सब हो गया, सब चीज हो गया. We have contested that. There are so many cases we have contested that.
What is the time limit?
Sir, see, you can, if it is 99% cases when they issue a particular show cause notice, they always say it is fraud under section 74. But if it is under, which you can contest, section 73, which is non-fraud cases, which is genuine cases, okay, it can be issued 3 years. The order can be issued 3 years, okay, can be issued 3 years from when? Not the end of the financial year, from the due date of the annual return. तो सर हम लोग बहुत खुश होते हैं जब annual return का due date बढ़ते जाता है. बहुत बड़ा है पहले, अभी तो नहीं बढ़ता है. Annual return 99C, 1 साल 2 साल डिले हो गया. So sir, that particular opportunity for them to send us a show cause notice, that also increases by 3 years. So 3 years is the order, but the show cause notice has to be issued 3 months before your last date of order. अगर 3 महीना लास्ट तक, मतलब कि 2 साल 9 महीना तक अगर आपके पास में शो कॉज नोटिस नहीं आता है, enjoy party. But sir, 5 years is the time limit for fraud cases, and 99% cases this is a fraud. 99 cases. There were few articles which I published in newspaper also. It is mentioned there is an audit which has been conducted. After an audit, a show cause notice has been issued. 99% case they say fraud. Why fraud? Because had we not done audit, we would have never found that this particular you are doing this, you're taking this fraudulent ITC and all. We contest that. There are Landis, GRYR, Landis, the case law is there. There are many other case laws which I have also. These have been printed, published in national publications also, where just alone it has been mentioned in audit or it has been found out in audit. Fraud notices cannot be issued. You can contest that. So fraud notices for 5 years after the due date. You can receive the order 6 months before the particular order. Show cause notice can be issued latest. So if these are पार हो गया तो under no circumstance they can issue. अब सर जैसे अभी बोलते हैं इन्वेस्टिगेशन का कब आपके पास आ सकता है? सर 6 साल निकल गया है तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन करके भी क्या करेगा? शो कॉज नोटिस तो इशू नहीं कर पाएगा. इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कहाँ से रिकवरी होगा? They can't recover any penny during investigation. Investigation is a door to go to adjudication. Adjudication का टाइम निकल गया, 5 साल निकल गया, 3 साल निकल गया, then what will they do with investigation? So 3 years, 5 years.
तो लिमिटेशन पीरियड जो है 3 इयर्स का,
हाँ.
वो यदि ओवर हो गया है फिर उसको टाइम भी एक्सटेंड करना.
सर ये आप बहुत अच्छे आदमी है जो ये क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो. मैं भी बहुत अच्छा आदमी हूँ जो ये रिप्लाई कर रहा हूँ. लेकिन एवरी 6 months वी सी दिस डेट इज एक्सटेंडेड बाय नोटिफिकेशन. 6 महीना और
अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट बहुत सारे पार्टियों का एप्लीकेशन फाइल हुआ.
अभी सर 17, 18, 18, 19 का फर्स्ट they furthered the time limit by issuing a notification 6 months. Sir, people are unable to cope. Superintendents are unable to cope. एक दिन में 10 notices उनको मिल रहे हैं. They are issuing. How are they going to pass the order? They are very, very undermanned. There is so much a bulk of work. So they have to extend by 6 months, by 1 year like that. But 18, 19 is gone. 17, 18 is gone for non-fraud cases. तो अभी आपके पास में 18, 19, 17, 18 का नहीं निकल सकता. अभी 19, 20 का निकल सकता. Until unless they again issue a notification and all that.
17, 18, 18, 19 का तो 74 का.
सर 74 का निकल सकता है सर. 5 years. सर 5 years. सर वो भी एक्सटेंड हो सकता है.
वो तो करता ही है.
Sir, right now GST department is not even 50% equipped to handle all the tax officers assigned administratively for that jurisdictional office to issue show cause notices in the designated timeline. नहीं हो सकता. They will extend.
Sir, one thing is that अगर all invoice सप्लाई है किया, उसके बाद vendor भी
Sir, वापस से एक बार सर बोलिए.
Hello.
Yes.
All invoice सप्लाई है किया, उसके बाद vendor भी transaction करी है. Supplier तो automatically वो जो output tax वो भी दे दिया. तो vendor भी input tax credit ले दिया. बाद में investigation हो सकता है. इधर any provision to the GST invoice the major actual movement कुछ हुआ है. इधर any provision.
Sir, here in this case we had discussed that if in these fraud का जो केस है ना 5 साल वाला है, ठीक है, 3 साल वाला भूल जाइए सेक्शन 74. सर 5 साल 7 साल तो जीएसटी को हुआ अभी, राइट. सो ऑल दीज केसेस वी आर रिसीविंग समन्स, वी आर रिसीविंग क्लैरिफिकेशन दैट इतना बल्क में छापा हो रहा है, इंस्पेक्शन हो रहा है, सर्च सीजर हो रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ फेक इनवॉइसिंग. इनिशियली जो फेक इनवॉइसिंग 17, 18, 18, 19 में होता था, सप्लायर इज इशूइंग इनवॉइसेस बट ही इज नॉट एक्चुअली गिविंग द पर्टिकुलर गुड्स, और किसी और का ईवे बिल है, किसी और का रजिस्ट्रेशन इनवॉइस है, माल किसी और का. ऑल दिस वाज हैपनिंग अर्लियर. सो ऑल दोज केसेस आर बीइंग हैपनिंग राइट नाउ.
Document or a substantive document.
Sir, e-way bill now for me.
Material movement what?
Actual material movement we have to prove. If in your case the client, if he has the evidences which I mentioned, e-way bill is there, transporter consignment note is there, BT is there, bank statements are there, undertakings you take, you even show your undertakings from the transporter, you show them all the details, you make a trail stock register which we show. Sir, we have to substantiate the actual trail of movement. Main चीज तो ये कि वो माल ही नहीं आया है, मेरे को प्रूफ करना है कि डिलीवरी चलान है, ये सब है, माल आया है on the basis of facts. We can take all of those case laws which I have mentioned and we can say, sir, you now prove. The onus is on the department. You prove. And sir, वो बोलेंगे कि नहीं sir, we have proof. This panchnama is that this supplier is so fake. Sir, he may be fake. When am I contesting? He is not fake. But my transaction, is it fake or not? As I said, investigation, adjudication, final proceeding cannot be qua in respect of a supplier. For me, I am a recipient. It has to be in respect of the transactions which I have engaged with the supplier. अरे हम उसका धंधा लेके रखिए क्या सर? वो 100 आदमी पार्टी के साथ काम करता है, वो गलत काम किया है पहले, but मेरे साथ में तो I have all the documents, facts, everything. Which I am going to some. Sir, ये सब show cause notices will be issued. Summons ये सब हो रहा है, show cause they will not. The superintendent or someone they are not going to leave this place.
Government का tax तो government का तो tax मिल गया.
Sir,
supplier already pays the tax.
Sir, again, this is a very good question which you have said. For example, if the supplier is apprehended, arrested, कोई supplier tax payment ही नहीं किया, और supplier has been arrested, apprehended, उसका recovery proceeding हो गया है. But in the meantime, what it has happened for you and you have also recovered. You want to buy peace. You have recovered. You have reversed the input tax credit also. Supplier has also paid the tax. अरे same transaction में दो बार payment मिल गया government को. Sir, please apply for a refund. Please apply for a refund. Refund 2 years from the date of actual payment. Any other reason? RFT 01. You can apply for a refund but you need all the documents that the supplier GSTR 1, supplier GSTR 3 भी वो सब तो कुछ ही नहीं है. Recovery proceeding हो रहा है. Recovery proceeding DRC 03 चालान. Someone proceeding or whatever. You need an undertaking from them. You need to convince that sir पैसा तो उससे मिल ही गया है, जो मैंने उसको पैसा दिया, आप मेरा भी पैसा ले लियो रिवर्स करके, मेरा तो रिफंड करो आप. You can even ask for interest at the rate of 6%.
तो उसके लिए पार्टी का GST 03 चाहिए.
सर, सामने वाला आदमी कोऑपरेट करेगा, वो अगर इतना बदमाश है कि वो इतने साल से पेमेंट ही नहीं किया है, सो देयर इज वेरी स्लीक चांसेस दैट ही विल कोऑपरेट विथ यू, बट यू नीड एविडेंस, चालान, DRC 03, यू नीड ऑल द डॉक्यूमेंट्स विच आर अवेलेबल. उसके पास में इन्वेस्टिगेशन का नोटिस आए, वो रिप्लाई जो किया है वो सब मिल जाए, चालान मिल जाए, पेमेंट मिल जाए. DRC 03 में रिमार्क रहता है, आई हैव मेड पेमेंट इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ टैक्स नॉट पेड, बट ही विल नॉट राइट द पार्टीज नेम, आपका नाम वहां पर नहीं रहेगा. सो यू नीड एन अंडरटेकिंग फ्रॉम द पार्टी दैट ये जो पैसा 1 लाख का हम अभी पेमेंट किए हैं अंडर रिकवरी प्रोसीडिंग और अंडर दिस एडजुडिकेशन, that it pertains to this tax period for just this GST 3B which I had never filed. And sir, you can correlate that because for that GST for that period 2A when you will take out, you will see in column number 17 you will see supplier GST 3B filed no. So you know that particular supplier has not filed his 3B and it is no.
The supplier has filed the 3B.
Now supplier has filed that too under all this investigation and all of those things. You need an undertaking from him. You need CA stamp. You need all sorts of documents. You need, even if possible, you need an undertaking or some affidavit from the supplier. Very difficult. No CA in the same mind without proper thorough research he will sign. because there is no breakup in 3B of that person who has defaulted. Who will take the responsibility? He needs to see entire tally data. He needs to reconcile the output tax liability payable for that. सब चीज रिकॉन्साइल करके जो आउटस्टैंडिंग टैक्स आ रहा था वो टैक्स जो बाकी हुआ वो पेमेंट हुआ उसको कोरिलेट करके मैं अपना 2A के साथ में कोरिलेट करूंगा, अंडरटेकिंग लूंगा, चलान लूंगा एंड आई विल प्रूव विच एवर वे पॉसिबल. बट इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन दैट दो बार टैक्स पेमेंट हो गया, मेरे से नहीं लेने का था लेकिन मेरे से लिया है, ऑडिट में हम अपने दे देते हैं, राइट? तो वी कैन अप्लाई फॉर अ रिफंड. देयर आर केस लॉज आल्सो रिगार्डिंग दिस. यस यस सर.
क्वेश्चन था
हाँ सर.
मेरा रिसेंटली 2 नोटिस आया है डिपार्टमेंट से. पहला ये है कि मिसमैच फ्रॉम बुक्स एंड
बुक बैंक विद 3B and 2A.
हाँ, नो, mismatch is my return has been filed on the basis of FOB value, but in my books we are only maintain mostly export and export terms FOB, CNF, and the main reason of mismatch is FOB and CNF. जब FOB शिपमेंट हो रहा है तो मैचिंग हो जा रहा है मेरा रिटर्न के साथ बुक्स टाइम से या हमारा रिटर्न, लेकिन जब CNF हो रहा है या CIN हो रहा है तो वो लोग बोल रहे हैं ये मिसमैच है कि हमारा रिटर्न के साथ मिसमैच.
Is this causing a problem for your refund, for automatic refund?
हम लोग हमेशा FOB बेसिस पे जो आता है एटलीस्ट वही लेते हैं, मतलब लेजर अमाउंट, नॉट होल अमाउंट. क्योंकि शिपिंग बिल में 2 अमाउंट रहता है, इनवॉइस वैल्यू है ना FOB वैल्यू, तो हम लोग FOB वैल्यू के ऊपर ही लेते हैं. सर वो लोग क्वेश्चन अरेस्ट करते हैं.
Sir, see this particular case now, if you are doing a CIF particular sale, export sale, so it is advised that your commercial invoice, the final invoice, shipping bill में mention जो होता है वो FOB value का refund के लिए लेते हैं, वो अलग चीज़ है, उसके लिए circular भी है. But what you are going to report in one, what you are going to report as sale in table 3.1B of GST 3B, you are going to report your commercial invoice. कमर्शियल इनवॉइस अगर FOB पे है आप वहाँ पर FOB दीजिए, आपका CIF पे है तो आप CIF दीजिए. आपका जो डिफरेंस आ रहा है जो शिपिंग बिल में FOB वैल्यू दिखाते हैं और यहाँ पर 1 और 3B में आपका CIF है विच इज द कमर्शियल इनवॉइस. यू कैन
हम बता सर GST इनवॉइस में
नहीं लगता है,
वैल्यू
नहीं रहता है, इनवॉइस वैल्यू भी रहता है, FOB वैल्यू भी रहता है.
नहीं, FOB वैल्यू खाली सिंपल में रहता है. आप GST इनवॉइस एक्चुअल प्राइस में होता है, वही रिपोर्ट होता है.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, जो एक्चुअल प्राइस है जो आपका, अगर वो CIF का में है, अगर आप FOB में है, कमर्शियल इनवॉइस जो आपका है, मानिए बाद में फॉर इंस्टेंस जैसे क्लाइंट का है, CIF का भी नहीं है, FOB का भी नहीं है, जैसे सर बोले जो फाइनल प्राइस होता है. फाइनल प्राइस का मतलब क्या हुआ? सर मैं आयरन और फाइन्स है वो मैं एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ, सर मॉइस्चर कंटेंट 10%, मैं उसको काट करके 10% काट करके वेट मेट्रिक को ड्राई मेट्रिक करता हूँ, कम अमाउंट दिखाता हूँ शिपिंग बिल में. FOB वैल्यू कम है, ड्राई मेट्रिक पे है, वेट मेट्रिक पे नहीं है. फाइनल इनवॉइस जब मैं इशू करता, फाइनल इनवॉइस अभी नहीं 2 महीना बाद में इशू करता. 2 महीना बाद कैसे? पोर्ट ऑफ डेस्टिनेशन में पहुंचता है चाइना में, वो खुद अपना टेस्ट करता है वहां पर एंड ही सीज मॉइस्चर कंटेंट मैक्सिमम में 10% लेके रखा विच इज अलाउड अंडर शिपिंग बिल. उससे ऊपर में 10% से ले ही नहीं सकते. उसका एक्चुअल में आता है 8.5%. Exactly my provisional commercial invoice which was used to have the shipping bill, उसका अमाउंट डिफरेंट रहेगा. बट 1 और 3B में कौन सा रिपोर्ट करना है आपको? 1 और 3B में आपको रिपोर्ट करना है फाइनल इनवॉइस. उसके लिए आप क्रेडिट नोट इशू करिए. आप अभी प्रोविजनल कमर्शियल इनवॉइस के हिसाब से आप सेल दिखा दीजिए. बाद में जो भी आपका मॉइस्चर कंटेंट अगर वहां पर कम आ रहा है, इफ सेल इज गिवन सेल मोर सेल, क्या कम सेल आ रहा है तो आप क्रेडिट नोट इशू करिए, क्रेडिट डेबिट नोट इशू करिए. दीज आर फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिट डेबिट नोट. GST है ही नहीं. अरे LUT में कर रही है सेल, GST कहाँ से आ रहा है? तो सर फाइनल जो आपका आता है जो प्रोविजनल कमर्शियल इनवॉइस उस टाइम है, आप उस टाइम लीजिए. फाइनल आपका क्रेडिट नोट डेबिट नोट 2 महीना बाद में आता है. कुछ भी चेंज होता है, आपका पैसा आता है जाता है जो भी है, तो आप उसमें डेबिट नोट क्रेडिट नोट
फाइनल के लिए सब कस्टम से
परमिशन लेना पड़ता है.
हमको डिपार्टमेंट एक बार बोला था कि शिपिंग में जब 2 अमाउंट है उनमें से जो लेजर को अमाउंट है मतलब वही आप क्रेडिट लीजिए.
नहीं सर, देखिए वो रिफंड के लिए, दैट इज रूल 89. वो रिफंड के लिए क्या है सर? रिफंड का जब आप टोटल मैक्सिमम इनपुट आप कैलकुलेट करते कितना रिफंड मिलना है तो न्यूमरेटर डिनोमिनेटर होता है. न्यूमरेटर क्या होता है? मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, वो FOB का जो कंसेप्ट है ना वो सर्कुलर में भी अभी सेटिस्फाई हो गया है. सर्कुलर 14 नोटिफिकेशन 14/2022 डेटेड 5th जुलाई 2022, इसमें आया था आपका, इसमें मेंशन किया हुआ था फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिफंड टेक एफओबी वैल्यू। तो इसीलिए उनका माइंडसेट ये होकर रखा है कि सब चीज एफओबी वैल्यू, रिपोर्ट भी एफओबी वैल्यू। और इससे रिपोर्ट एफओबी वैल्यू में कैसे करेंगे? मेरा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज 9 महीना में जो आना है, जिसमें बीआरसी मेरे को मिलना है, वो 100 रुपया का है, लेकिन एफओबी वैल्यू 80 रुपया का, 20 रुपया का तो सीआईएफ है। हम 1 और 3B में 80 रुपया क्यों रिपोर्ट करेंगे? मेरा तो ऑडिट फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्ट से मेरा मिसमैच हो जाएगा।
वही मिसमैच
सर, फॉर कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ रिफंड, ये चीज उन लोग को उतना समझ में नहीं आता है। फॉर कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ रिफंड अंडर रूल 89 रेड विद सेक्शन 54, उसमें न्यूमरेटर जो आपका कैलकुलेशन होता है जीरो रेटेड इनवॉइस, वो एफओबी वैल्यू, डिनोमिनेटर टोटल एडजस्टेड टर्नओवर, एफओबी वैल्यू प्लस डोमेस्टिक टर्नओवर प्लस सेल, वो मिलाते हैं। ऊपर भी एफओबी, नीचे भी एफओबी, तो वो चीज़ है। लेकिन सेल आप रिपोर्ट करेंगे, जैसे सर बोल रहे हैं, एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम जो फाइनल इनवॉइस है, इवन इफ इट इज अ प्रोविजनल कमर्शियल इनवॉइस, आप करिए, बाद में क्रेडिट डेबिट नोट करिए अगर कुछ चेंज होता है।
एक्चुअली फाइनल इनवॉइस हम लोग तो कहीं देते नहीं, ओनली
तो आपका, तो एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम जो कमर्शियल इनवॉइस है, वो अगर आपका सीआईएफ में है तो आप वो रिपोर्ट करिए 1 और 3B में, टू इंश्योर कि वो मैच हो रहा है आपका ऑडिटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट का सेल्स जो रिपोर्टिंग के साथ में। ऐसा कोई मैंडेट नहीं है सर कि एफओबी में करना गलत, क्यों सेल दिखाएंगे सर। दूसरा चीज़, अगर उन लोग को इतना ज़्यादा है तो टेबल 6A हो है, बोलता है जीएसटीआर 1 में, उसमें तो शिपिंग बिल का नंबर डाल ही रही है। ईजीएम तो है ही, टीजीएफटी वेबसाइट, ये वाइस गेट में तो देख सकते हैं ईजीएम में कितना एफओबी है, क्या सीआईएफ है।
पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स कर रहे हैं ना सर, टैक्स कम दिखाने के लिए एफओबी हो जाता है
ना, वो गलत है, वो गलत है। अरे सर, आप HSN भी नीचे दिखाएंगे तो आजकल तो टैक्सेबल अमाउंट पे जो आपका, अगर आप पेमेंट कर रही है तो आपका तो टैक्सेबल अमाउंट एफओबी वाला अमाउंट हो रहा है, तो आप तो अमाउंट ही टैक्स का कम हो रहा है आपका। अगर सीआईएफ है तो आप उसी के ऊपर में तो आप करेंगे ना पेमेंट।
सर, स्क्रॉल जनरेट होता है तो उससे भी तो देख ही सकते हैं वो, उसके लिए।
सर, मैं खालसा जी घर से हम बोल रहा हूँ।
हाँ जी,
हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं बर्तन।
हाँ जी सर।
मेरा एक प्रोजेक्ट था 10 करोड़ का, जब 5 करोड़ का माल चला गया तो पार्टी बोला कि हम लोग तो 270 दिन में हमारा बैंक बोलता है
मेजर।
तो हमने बोले हम नहीं देंगे, प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं उसका होता था, तो उसने थर्ड पार्टी से हमसे एजेंसी लेके एक्सपोर्ट कंप्लीट कर लिया। तो हम लोग जब फंड के लिए किया तो हम लोग एक ही साथ में, हमको तो मालूम नहीं था कि अलग अलग करना है, जो हम लोग डायरेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट किया साइड वाला वो, और सारा रिफंड हम लोग 1 करोड़ 2 लाख रुपये हमारा रिफंड होता था, वो हमको उन्होंने पेमेंट कर दिया। उसमें असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर, एडिशनल कमिश्नर, 7 अथॉरिटी ने उसको साइन करके हम लोग को पेमेंट कर दिया। उसके बाद असेसमेंट में जब गए तो उन्होंने देखा कि असेसमेंट ऑफिसर बोला कि आपको जो 42 लाख है ये तो ठीक है, 62 लाख आपको ये दूसरे फार्म में देना था, दूसरा एप्लीकेशन है उसका, इसका एप्लीकेशन अलग है, उसका अलग है। तो हम लोग बोले, हम लोग तो
सर एप्लीकेशन में रिफंड का बोल रहे हैं क्या?
हाँ, रिफंड।
मतलब एप्लीकेशन कौन सा, RFD 01 का कोई और क्लॉज में आप बोल रहे हो क्या? एक्सपोर्ट का एक आता है वहाँ पर, एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ गुड्स विदाउट पेमेंट ऑफ IGST अंडर LUT बॉन्ड, वो एक चीज़ है एक्सपोर्ट का।
वो बोलते हैं कि एक आपने जो 270 में थर्ड पार्टी के थ्रू एक्सपोर्ट किया, उसका एप्लीकेशन रिफंड का अलग होना था, जो हमने एक साइड हमने डायरेक्ट किया है उसका आपको एप्लीकेशन अलग करना था। परंतु वो तो डिपार्टमेंट ने 7 कमिश्नरों ने पास करके हमको पेमेंट किया। जब असेसमेंट हुआ तो ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ।
सर देखिए, ये ग्राउंड आप नहीं ले सकते हैं, मेरे को एग्जैक्ट केस जो आपका है वो देखना पड़ेगा, लेकिन आप ये ग्राउंड नहीं ले सकते हैं क्योंकि सेक्शन 73, सेक्शन 74 जो शोकॉज नोटिस का सेक्शन होता है उसमें 4 चीज़ लिखा रहता है। पहला चीज़ है शॉर्ट पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स, दूसरा चीज़ होता है रॉन्गफुल अवेलमेंट और यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट, तीसरा होता है सर रॉन्गफुल अवेलमेंट ऑफ रिफंड। तो आप उस टाइम बोल रहे हो कि जो पर्टिकुलर रिफंड ऑर्डर RFD 065 आपको मिला है, सब असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर साइन करके दिए, लेकिन असेसमेंट ऑडिट के टाइम में अगर उनको कुछ गलती समझ में आ रहा है, अगर वो बोल रहे हैं कि अलग एनी अदर ग्राउंड, एनी अदर रीजन में आपको अप्लाई करना था RFD 01 में, आप इसमें कर दिए, तो अब आपको इतना पैसा जो है वो आप अपना जो क्रेडिट लेजर में आपको वापस मिल जाएगा, क्रेडिट हो जाएगा, और इतना पैसा आपको पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा, और आप वापस से अप्लाई करिए। लेकिन आप वापस से अप्लाई कर सकते हैं अगर 2 साल निकला नहीं है आपका।
ऐसा सर, मैंने उनको बोला कि हम लोग ठीक है क्रेडिट लेजर से आपको रिफंड कर देंगे।
क्रेडिट लेजर से रिफंड नहीं होता सर। क्रेडिट लेजर रिफंड का मतलब क्या होता है? रिफंड मतलब पैसा मिल रहा है अगेंस्ट व्हाट, आपका अक्यूमुलेटेड इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट। तो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट ऑटोमेटिकली डेबिट हो जाता है ऑन द डे ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ RFD 01, और आपको 3 महीना बाद में, 1 महीना विदिन 60 डेज आपको बैंक अकाउंट में कैश मिल जाता है। तो अभी आपको कैश वापस आपसे लेंगे बैंक अकाउंट से, और आपका इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेजर जो ऑटो डेबिट किए थे ऑन फाइलिंग ऑफ रिफंड, वो आपको वापस से क्रेडिट बैक कर देंगे। तो यू कैन नॉट मेक द पेमेंट और रिफंड इन क्रेडिट, ये तो नोटिफिकेशन में भी लिखा हुआ है, आपको कैश से ही पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा वापस।
नहीं, वो तो इसमें तो हमारे क्रेडिट लेजर से लेने के लिए एग्री थे, परंतु वो क्रेडिट लेजर में उसको हम लोग को दे नहीं रहे थे, कि बोलते नहीं ये आपका पैसा ऐसे ही चला जाएगा। हम लोगों तो हाई कोर्ट में
सर 2 साल हो गया है क्या आपका फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ दिस रिजेक्शन? अपील फाइल किए हो क्या? विद इन 90 डेज अपील फाइल कर सकते हो।
उसको केस को तो हम लोग हाई कोर्ट में चले गए हैं।
अच्छा,
हाई कोर्ट ने उनको जीएसटी को बोला था कि आप 15 दिन में रिप्लाई कीजिए, 1.5 साल से तो उन्होंने रिप्लाई नहीं दिया, उसके आगे कोई हम लोग को कोई खबर नहीं है। और एक और अभी है, हम लोग सहारनपुर से माल लाए, 70,600 रुपये हम लोग जीएसटी पे किया, हमारे क्रेडिट लेजर में जमा है। हमारा माल यहाँ कलकत्ता आया, वो उन्होंने जब अपना रिटर्न फाइल किया तो उसमें उन्होंने वेस्ट बंगाल की जगह लिख दिया हिमाचल प्रदेश। तो अभी उसके लिए बोल रहे हैं
सर प्रॉब्लम है जो वो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई सर आपका हो गया है, जो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई जो है सर वो उनको अब वो कितना दिन हो गया आपका, ये कौन सा साल का बात है? ये यही साल का है क्या? 23-24 का है क्या? 18-19 का। तो 18-19 तो सर निकल गए। आपका लास्ट डेट था फॉर मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ दी पर्टिकुलर इनवॉइस जो सप्लायर अपना एडिट करके आपको दे सकते थे, 1 में डाल सकते थे। 18-19 का था आपका 20th ऑफ सितंबर, 20th ऑफ अक्टूबर, सॉरी 20th ऑफ अक्टूबर भी नहीं आपका, इनफैक्ट था ड्यू डेट ऑफ जीएसटीआर 3 भी रिटर्न नहीं था, और जीएसटीआर 1 फाइलिंग का था, वो भी ड्यू डेट नहीं। आप जीएसटीआर 1 फाइलिंग आप करो, आपका सितंबर का जीएसटीआर 1 फाइलिंग और सितंबर को ड्यू डेट नहीं, नेक्स्ट ईयर वो आपका टाइम निकल गया है। तो इसमें सर तो आपका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई का डिस्प्यूट है, लेकिन सर आप इसमें देखिए बात समझिए, देयर आर 6 कंडीशंस टू क्लेम इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट, लेकिन 18-19 में 4 कंडीशन था, ये ध्यान से सुनिएगा। सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 2 पहला कंडीशन था इनवॉइस है अपने पास में, इनवॉइस है एज पर रूल 36, इनवॉइस है अपने पास में, रूल 36 में क्या एक प्रिस्क्राइब फॉर्मेट बताता है कि उसका सब चीज पहला। दूसरा चीज माल आया है। तीसरा चीज है सर मैंने जो टैक्स पेमेंट किया सप्लायर को, उसने पेमेंट किया है गवर्नमेंट को, वो किया है, अंडरटेकिंग मिल जाएगा। चौथा है सर मैंने जो रिसीवमेंट है मैंने अपना 3B फाइल किया था 18-19 में किया है, उस टाइम से 4 कंडीशन था और कोई कंडीशन नहीं था। तो आपको वो डिनाई नहीं कर सकते ये बोल करके कि आपका इनवॉइस नहीं है, इनवॉइस तो है, इनवॉइस है आपका इनवॉइस में एक गलती है, तो आप उसको देयर आर सेवरल केस लॉज रिगार्डिंग दिस आल्सो।
इनवॉइस में गलती नहीं सर, इनवॉइस में हमारा कलकत्ता का
रिटर्न में गलती है,
रिटर्न में गलती है,
उन्होंने रिटर्न में,
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, उनका रिटर्न में गलती है तब तो सर कोई केस ही नहीं बनता है ना, आपका तो इनवॉइस करेक्ट है।
टेक्निकल एरर है सर कोड में,
वो तो बेसिकली उनका जो सीजीएसटी का जो एलिमेंट था वो कोई और स्टेट को बेसिकली पेमेंट कर दिए, तो इसकी वजह से वो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। लेकिन वो तो सर अगेन हो गया ना डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ इम्पॉसिबिलिटी, डीवाई बैथिल एंटरप्राइजेस केके इंडस्ट्रीज, वो पर्टिकुलर सर अपना मॉडिफाई नहीं किया। लेकिन सर ये तो अगला गलती है, बात समझिए, जो मैं प्रेजेंटेशन दिया हूँ उसमें 10-12 केस लॉ भी मैं दिया हूँ, इसको डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ इम्पॉसिबिलिटी बोलती है, मतलब कि मेरे हाथ में ही नहीं है कि मेरा सप्लायर कितना गलती करे और क्या गलती करे और फाइल भी करे क्या, पैसा भी पेमेंट करे क्या। केके इंडस्ट्री सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट है, डीवाई बैथिल, अराइज इंडिया, आपका कितने सारे और सनक्राफ्ट अभी एनर्जी का है, तो ये सब आप इसमें कोट कर सकते हैं, बोल सकते हैं डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ इम्पॉसिबिलिटी। मेरे हाथ में है नहीं, सामने वाला को आई कैन नॉट बी एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू समथिंग व्हिच इज इम्पॉसिबल। तो आप जो आप इसमें आप आगे बढ़िए, आप अपना आपका जान है केस में, आप इसमें रिट फाइल करना है, बड़ा अमाउंट का है, या तो आप डिपार्टमेंट को सबमिट करिए कि, लेकिन अभी सर ये अगर आप पेमेंट कर दिए क्या, ये ऑलरेडी अभी ऑर्डर आया ना, मतलब कि शोकॉज नोटिस आया ना आपका,
रिप्लाई दिया कि ऑर्डर भी नहीं आया।
हाँ तो ठीक है, आप फर्दर रिप्लाई करिए सर, जो मैं केस लॉज दिया हो ना आप वो रिप्लाई करिए, ऑर्डर देगा तो आप फिर 3 महीना में आप अपील करिएगा, ये सभी केस लॉज डालते हैं। ये आपका केस में जान है, या कंडीशंस जो है मैं आपको बोला वो आप दीजिए और ये केस लॉज आप दीजिए, तो ये आप कर सकते हो कंटेस्ट, इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम।
हमारा एक और है सर प्रॉब्लम, पहले जब जीएसटी चालू हुआ तो हमारे स्टाफ जानते नहीं थे, LUT में हम लोग सब था हमारे पास, परंतु जो एडवाइस बनाया शिपिंग बिल उसमें वो नई लिस्ट और 18% GST चार्ज लेकर दिया, वो जमा भी कर दिया हम लोग, फिर वो बाद में हम लोग अपने आप रिफंड भी कर दिया उसमें। तो उसके बाद वो जो असेसमेंट में आया तो बोले इसको पूरा जमा करिए, हम लोग वो भी जमा कर दिया, उसके ऊपर फिर इंटरेस्ट 6 लाख के ऊपर 8 लाख।
सर देयर आर फ्यू केस लॉ जो आप बोल रहे हो कि एनी माइनर मिस्टेक इन एनी ई-बिल बिल और एनी डॉक्यूमेंट इट डज नॉट वायलेट, जो आप शिपिंग बिल जो आप बोल रहे हो कि आप जो ये पर्टिकुलर बोल रहे हो, ये डॉक्यूमेंट में कुछ भी अगर छोटा गलती है, देखिए बात समझिए, रिफंड का एक अलग प्रोसेस है व्हेन इट इज अंडर एलयूटी बॉन्ड, RFD 01 आप फाइल किए हो, आपको पैसा मिला है, तो ये आप अलग मैकेनिज्म किए हो। आपका अगर एलयूटी बॉन्ड आपको मेंशन ही नहीं करना था, 18% मेंशन करना था, इफ यू हैड टू मेक द पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स, तो आप पेमेंट कहाँ किए हो? आप तो पेमेंट किए हो नहीं, आप तो एक्सपोर्ट किए हो, राइट, विदाउट पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स अंडर एलयूटी बॉन्ड। तो अभी असेसमेंट में वो ये नहीं बोल सकते हैं।
अपना सर उस टाइम क्रेडिट लेजर से वो पेमेंट भी कर दिया।
क्रेडिट लेजर से आप पेमेंट नहीं करते हो सर, वो ऑटो डेबिट होता है बेसिकली। तो आप रिफंड फाइल कर दिए हो बेसिकली, तो इसमें आप कंटेस्ट कर सकते हो। रीजन बीइंग कि एक छोटा गलती की वजह से आपने दो अलग तरीके का रिफंड होता है। एक तो होता है विद पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स, जहाँ पर जो कस्टम्स देखते हैं, जो आपका हर महीना जो ऑटोमेटेड आपका शिपिंग बिल का डिटेल्स देखते हैं, वन का डिटेल्स देखते हैं, मैच करते हैं, आपका हर 2-2 महीना में आपका पैसा आ जाता है, राइट। आइस गेट से वो मिलता है, वो तो कस्टम, वो तो जीएसटी का कोई है ही नहीं उसमें। आपका जो केस में आपको बोल रहे हैं कि आप वापस से पूरा पेमेंट करिए, आप क्यों पेमेंट करेंगे? आप जो उसमें RFD 01 फाइल करके रिफंड आप क्लेम किए हो, तो आप पूरा अलग ही मैकेनिज्म लिए हो, उसमें एक छोटा सा गलती है अगर
8.5 लाख का डिमांड उन्होंने
नहीं, इट्स एब्सोल्युटली कंटेस्टेबल, एकदम रबिश है सर, ये इट्स एब्सोल्युटली कंटेस्टेबल, एब्सोल्युटली कंटेस्टेबल।
आपका कार्ड मिलेगा?
हाँ एकदम सर, यस यस
सर। हमको सेक्शन 61 में नोटिस मिला था
ASMT 10
1920 के लिए।
हाँ जी,
तो उसमें सर क्या हुआ था, वो पोर्टल में आया था,
हाँ जी,
उसका ईमेल भी नहीं आया, हार्ड कॉपी।
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर, पोर्टल में ही आता, हार्ड कॉपी भी नहीं आता सर, ASMT 10 पोर्टल में आता है।
तो सर उसमें एक प्रॉब्लम है
सर ईमेल आता है सर, बाय मैसेज भी आता है, सॉरी आपको मैसेज नहीं मिला क्या? मुश्किल है सर, मैसेज और ईमेल तो आता है सर, अदरवाइज आपको पता कैसे चलेगा? जीएसटी पोर्टल का पहले एक बात था कि जैसे लॉगिन करेंगे तो एक तो घंटी है वहाँ पर, वो 1-2 दिखाएगा, लेकिन कौन दिखता है वो सर? हाउ विल आई अप्रीहेंड कि कोई नोटिस है, वो टैब में जा करके मेरे को देखना? नो, यू आर सपोज टू रिसीव एन ईमेल एंड मैसेज। आपको जिस टाइम अपलोड होता है पोर्टल में आपको मैसेज मिलता है, तो पता कैसे चलेगा? रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल आईडी में आता है, आप अपना रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल आईडी चेक करवाइए सर।
नहीं आया, इसलिए हम लोग आफ्टर 30 डेज वो
सर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, वो तो ASMT 10 है, उससे कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, वो तो स्क्रूटिनी है। शोकॉज नोटिस तो अभी इशू होएगा, और शोकॉज नोटिस भी अभी फर्स्ट इशू नहीं हो सकता, सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, अभी प्री शोकॉज नोटिस इशू होएगा, TRC 01A, वो पर्टिकुलर इशू होएगा।
हम लोग पर्सनली विजिट करके उसको अभी
कर सकते
सर। उसमें मेरा 2 पॉइंट में क्वेश्चन है।
हाँ बोलिए।
एक है मेरा 0 रेट सेल है,
0 रेट
सेल है, तो उसमें डिमांड प्लेस किए हैं, जो मेरा टोटल इनपुट है, जो मेरा टर्नओवर है, उसमें परसेंटेज निकल के
नहीं सर, वो 0 रेटेड नहीं, आप गलत बोल रहे हैं। दैट इज एग्जाम सर, रूल 42-43 बात समझिए सर। रूल 43 क्या बोलता है? जितना एग्जाम सप्लाई मतलब क्या हुआ? आप अगर कोई भी एग्जामिशन नोटिफिकेशन जो आपका है, एग्जामिशन नोटिफिकेशन मतलब क्या, 11/12/2017 जो है, उसमें आप अगर कोई भी एग्जाम सप्लाई करते हैं, तो आपका वो एग्जाम सप्लाई आप कहाँ पर दिखाते हैं? GST R1 में अलग से दिखाते हैं, GST 9 में टेबल 5 में दिखाते हैं, उसमें टैक्स पेमेंट नहीं करना पड़ता। 0 रेटेड अलग होता है सर, एग्जाम सप्लाई अलग होता है। 0 रेटेड मतलब होता है आपका SEZ को दे रहे या तो एक्सपोर्ट दे रहे, उसमें कोई भी रिवर्सल नहीं करना होता है। एग्जाम्प्ट होता है, तो उसमें क्या होता है, एग्जाम्प्ट का 1 रुपया डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल टर्नओवर इंक्लूडेड एग्जाम्प्ट 10 रुपया, तो 10% का टोटल कॉमन पूल ऑफ इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट उसको रिवर्स करना पड़ता है। ये सर जो अभी रूल लॉ बना है, नोटिफिकेशन भी आया है, इमीडिएट रिवर्सल का दरकार ही नहीं है आपको। ये रिवर्सल अगर आप 30 नवंबर के पहले भी कर देते अगला साल का, तभी भी आपको इसमें इंटरेस्ट भी पेमेंट नहीं करना पड़ता। सिंस आप ये किए नहीं, आपका तो 0 रेटेड, आपका तो केस ही नहीं बनता है अरे सर क्या बोल रहे हैं सर? लाइसेंस सेल नहीं सर, अगेन ड्यूटी पेड स्क्रिप्ट सर, इट इज अ लॉ मेड। यहाँ पर आकर के 30 अगस्त 2022 में आप लोगों को सबको समझाया हूँ, इट इज देयर इन माय डेक। ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट्स का सेल, इट विल नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज एग्जाम सप्लाई फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिवर्सल ऑफ 42-43 है। तो मैं कितना बार बोला हूँ, ये तो कंटेस्ट कर सकते हैं, एक नोटिस लिखेंगे ड्रॉप हो जाएगा। ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट्स नोटिफिकेशन 14/2022 डेटेड 5th of July 2022, उसमें क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है पेज 3 और पेज 4 में, ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट्स का सेल कुछ भी कर रही है, MEIS SEIS, वो सब पहले क्या करते थे, एग्जाम दिखाते थे, ठीक है चलो एग्जाम है, उसके बाद में जोड़ देते थे, बोलते अब इसको रिवर्स करो, ये क्या बदमाशी है? ये तो एग्जाम उसमें कैटेगरिकली लिख दिया है, एग्जाम होएगा, लेकिन इट विल नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज एग्जाम सप्लाई फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिवर्सल ऑफ 42-43, तो लॉ में आ गया है। सर्कुलर, डिपार्टमेंटल सर्कुलर, ये जो मैं कोट किया हूं, डिपार्टमेंटल सर्कुलर इज बाइंडिंग ऑन द डिपार्टमेंट, इसको सिर्फ रिप्लाई करके ड्रॉप हो जाएगा।
और एक मेरा एक सप्लाई जेन्युइन सप्लाई था, मगर उसका GST ऐसा फेक बोल के ड्रॉप कर
सर सेम केसेस जितना भी मैं मेंशन किया हूँ कॉपी पेस्ट करके फाइल कर दीजिए। शोकॉज नोटिस इशू होएगा, ड्रॉप नहीं करेंगे, उसके बाद में कंटेस्ट करिए, आपका फैक्चुअल केसेस है, ये सब जो केस लॉज है, आपको बाद में रिलीफ मिलेगा सर। सर सबका हो रहा है, सिर्फ आपका नहीं है, तो हर आदमी का हो रहा है। एक में से मतलब 1 out of 3 पीपल इसका सेम फेक सप्लायर फेक है, लेकिन मेरा जेन्युइन इनवॉइस है, तो मैंने तो वही बोला ना, सब पूरा प्रेजेंट किया, वही आप डालिए उसमें, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। सर ये वाला जो which I mentioned this notification duty credit scripts का what I remember, okay please don't quote it किया है वेबसाइट और बाद में गलती होएगा। what I remember notification 14/2022 dated 5th July 2022 उसमें clearly लिखा हुआ है कि आपका ड्यूटी क्रेडिट स्क्रिप्ट्स है और यू कैन शेयर विद मी योर कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर एक्सेट्रा, आई कैन शेयर विद यू द एग्जैक्ट स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर नोटिफिकेशन। बट मेरा जो मेमोरी में ये आपको बोल रहा है उसमें क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है एग्जाम सप्लाई है, बट नॉट फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिवर्सल। आप उसको रिपोर्ट करो ना सर, आप एग्जाम सप्लाई में रिपोर्ट करो। ये सर इनका क्यों प्रॉब्लम हुआ ना, ये एग्जाम सप्लाई में रिपोर्ट किए तो स्क्रूटिनी नोटिस अरिथमेटिकल है, इन लोग थोड़ी ऑडिट में पेपर में थोड़ी घुस करके देते हो एग्जाम सप्लाई है, कुछ रिवर्सल नहीं हुआ है। रिवर्सल कहाँ पर होएगा, टेबल 4B2 सॉरी टेबल 4B1 परमानेंट रिवर्सल, उसमें कोई अमाउंट नहीं है, तो इसीलिए अरिथमेटिकल डिस्क्रिपेंसी है, उसके लिए इट इज आपका जो ASMT 10 का जो होएगा वो सेकंड लास्ट पेज में होएगा, ये पर्टिकुलर लास्ट में नीचे में दिया होएगा, इट इज देयर इन ऑल द नोटिसेस, वो सिर्फ रिपोर्ट किए। हाँ
होता है
वापस से बोलिए सर।
स्लिप से हम लोग होता है वो ऑफिसर बोल रहा है कि आपका कॉमन इनपुट रिवर्स करना है।
सर मैं वही तो बोल रहा हूँ सर, ये पर्टिकुलर नोटिफिकेशन है, ये आप चीज़ उनको दिखाएंगे, वो ड्रॉप करना ही करना है सर, इट इज़ मैंडेटरी, इट इज़ लॉ सर। मैं आपके साथ में शेयर कर दूंगा और यू कैन चेक दैट अप ऑल्सो, ये तो लॉ हो गया सर, आई डिस्कस दिस पॉइंट लास्ट टाइम। डिपार्टमेंट इज नॉट एज अपडेटेड एज ऑल ऑफ यू पीपल सर।
हाँ सर हम लोग 1920 में ITC जब लेते ना तो वहाँ पर 6 लाख की जगह गलती से 9 लाख
सर 1920 के 2019 1920 अच्छा 1920
तो वहाँ पर एक मंथ में 6 लाख ITC लेने गया, वो गलती से 9 लाख दिए।
हाँ ठीक है,
तो वो रिवर्स हम लोग ने एट द टाइम ऑफ फ्री में नहीं दिया है, हम लोग ने फाइल एनुअल
9 कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट की है, इंटरेस्ट में भी रिलीफ है सर, इंटरेस्ट का भी नोटिस आ सकता है, इंटरेस्ट में भी रिलीफ है। सेक्शन 50 सबसेक्शन 3 क्या बोलते हैं सर, 3 लाख का जो आप एक्स्ट्रा अवेल किए, बट व्हेन हैव यू स्टार्टेड यूटिलाइजिंग इट, एक्चुअल यूटिलाइजेशन अगेंस्ट आउटपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट कब से किए। फॉर इंस्टेंस आप ये अगस्त 2019 में आप इसको 3 लाख एक्स्ट्रा क्लेम कर लिए, 6 लाख तो आपका 2A में था, इनवॉइस था, 3 लाख भूल से क्लेम कर लिए, रिवर्स किया आप दिसंबर 2020 में, लेकिन आप उसको यूटिलाइज कर, वो बोलेगा कि अच्छा आप अगस्त में क्लेम किए 3 लाख रुपया फ्रॉम 20th of September to 31st of December, वो आप इंटरेस्ट एट 18% पेमेंट करिए। नो, सेक्शन 50 सबसेक्शन 3 रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली फ्रॉम 1st of July बोलता है फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ एक्चुअल यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ एक्सेस टैक्स क्लेम्ड, आप सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर में जा करके जो महीना में 3 लाख रुपया को आप खिलाए हो, आप अपने साथ में सेट ऑफ किए हो आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी के साथ में, प्लीज कैलकुलेट इंटरेस्ट फ्रॉम दैट GSTR 3B रिटर्न ड्यू डेट टू द एक्चुअल रिवर्सल, वो आप एक सेफगार्ड ले सकते हो, यू कैन सेव योर इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट, लेकिन रिवर्सल करना होगा सर, अब कर लिए तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है सर।
एक चीज
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर, वहीं पे तो रिवर्सल होता है, और वहां पर मैंडेटरी बोलती है कि सर प्लीज पे बाय कैश, प्लीज पे बाय कैश। अरे सर इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बोलते हैं कि कैश से पेमेंट नहीं करना है, तो 99C तो ऑडिट रिटर्न, ये सॉरी रिटर्न है, उसमें कैश से कहाँ से सर 3B में रिवर्स ही दिखा है। देयर आर 2-3 मैकेनिज्म्स वेयर आई कैन रिवर्स, वन इज योर 3B का डेडलाइन मिस हो गया है, सर्कुलर 27/2017 लास्ट टाइम यहीं पे मैं डिस्कस किया था, 21 सितंबर में मेंशन किया हुआ है सर, वो सर्कुलर में मेंशन किया हुआ है। 3B का टाइम निकल गया, 99C में करिए, 99C में करेंगे, कैश से भी करने का दरकार नहीं है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर से करिए, और इंटरेस्ट का भी आप बचाव कर सकते हैं जो मैं आपको बोला। या तो आप अगर 3B में भी नहीं करना, सॉरी 3B में नहीं किया, 99C में भी नहीं किए, ऑडिट के टाइम में DRC 03 से करिए, और DRC 03 में करेंगे तभी भी आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर यूज कर सकते हैं, कोई मैंडेट नहीं है सर।
एक चीज है, अगर सपोज एक कंपनी है उसका 55% एक्सपोर्ट है, 45% लोकल,
ठीक है सर,
तो एक्सपोर्ट में जो माल देता है परचेज करता है, लोकली परचेज करता है,
ठीक है सर,
वो एक्सपोर्ट का विदाउट पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स,
ठीक है सर,
तो उसमें माल का अमाउंट तो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट पे है,
ठीक है सर,
वो कैसे वाले टू D1 से निकल सकता है,
DRC
वो उसमें डोमेस्टिक में मैच अप करके भी उसका पास
अक्यूमुलेट हो रहा है, आप ये बोल रहे हैं ना, तो DRC 01 या RFD 01 सर, RFD 01 जैसे कि क्या ये बोल रहे हैं 45% मेरा डोमेस्टिक है, 55% एक्सपोर्ट है, तो 55%
एक्सपोर्ट का जो
लेकिन एक्सपोर्ट का परचेज इज बल्क, बहुत मोटा परचेज है, तो वो सेट ऑफ भी, हाँ वो सेट ऑफ पूरा होता भी नहीं है सर. यू कैन डू इट सर, यू कैन डू इट. आपका रिफंड का अमाउंट मिनिमम कुछ नहीं है, शायद 200-250 रुपए जैसा कि होगा लॉ में. यू कैन अप्लाई बट इट हैज टू बी विद इन 2 years. 25 लाख सर, बट 20 बात समझिए सर, लॉट ऑफ चेंजेस हैव हैपेंड. 2 साल फ्रॉम द एक्चुअल डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग जीएसटी और 3B रिटर्न ड्यू डेट, 2 साल के अंदर में आप रिफंड फाइल कर सकते हैं. पहला चीज. दूसरा चीज है 2B में आपका आना चाहिए. पहले उस टाइम 2A था, बट फ्रॉम 1st of January 2022 2B फॉलो हो रहा है. फ्रॉम 1st of January 2022 2B फॉलो हो रहा है. तो आपका अगर ये पर्टिकुलर जो अमाउंट आप जो बोल रहे हो, इफ इट पर्टेन्स टू लास्ट 2 साल, मतलब आज आप करते हो तो आपका 2022 आपका 2022 कब का होएगा आपका ये मई तक का. तो अब आपका 2 years का बेनिफिट भी आपको मिलेगा नहीं, जो आपको बीच में मिल रहा था ड्यू टू कोविड, बिकॉज वो एक्सटेंशन आपको उसी टाइम मिल रहा था. दैट इज फ्रॉम एनी पीरियड फ्रॉम 1st of March 2022 28th of February 2022 तो निकल गया. तभी भी 2 साल अभी भी है आपके पास में. आप फॉर ऑल द एक्यूमुलेटेड इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट अपियरिंग इन 2A, अपियरिंग इन 2B, आप उसको RFD 01 में एनेक्शल B में आप डाल करके आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. बट आप वही इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट क्लेम कर सकते हैं जो आपका 2 साल का आपका अप्रैल 2022 से लेके अप्रैल 2024 तक है. आपको उसके पहले नहीं कर सकते, टाइम बाद हो गया आपका. कर सकते हैं लेकिन आपका सर 1st जनवरी वेरी क्रिटिकल पॉइंट, 1st जनवरी 2022 से 2B फॉलो होने लग गया फॉर रिफंड पर्पस ऑल्सो. 2A में आया है लेकिन 2B में आपका अगर नहीं आया है कोई महीना में, लेकिन कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. आप तो पूरा 2 साल का ही करिए तो 2B में नेक्स्ट महीना में आ जाएगा. नेक्स्ट महीना वो कर सकते हैं, एनेक्शन B में डालना पड़ेगा आपको और आप फाइल कर सकते हैं.
डिपार्टमेंट का कहना है वो 3B पे जो इनपुट है उसका साथ का 2A
आपका 3 सर नहीं ऐसा नहीं है सर. 3B का 2B से मैच होना चाहिए आइडियली. तो 3B में आपका जो RFD 01 में मैक्सिमम इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट विच आपको मिलता है रिफंड, इट इज द लोअर ऑफ द 3. पहला क्या होता है जो कैलकुलेट होता है स्टेटमेंट 3 जो होता है ना, जो आपका एक्सपोर्ट है डिवाइड बाय टोटल इनटू द टोटल इनपुट व्हिच हैज बीन क्लेम्ड इन GST और 3B फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2022 टू अप्रैल 2024, उसका प्रोपोर्शनल. पहला चीज. दूसरा चीज है आज जब फाइल कर रही है आपको 25 लाख नहीं, आपको से 5 लाख बाकी है, तो 25 लाख कहां से लेंगे? At the time of filing refund application right now, whatever amount which you have as credit, that is the second factor. Third is जो पीरियड का रिफंड आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो वो पीरियड का एंड तक का जो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट अवेलेबल है लोअर ऑफ द 3 आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. यू कैन अप्लाई
22 डेज का कितना है वही
22 डेज का अप्रैल ऑनवर्ड सर. अप्रैल भी निकल गया होगा अभी. मई 20 तारीख लास्ट डेट है आपका अप्रैल के लिए जो 2000 सर आपका रिफंड के लिए 2B में आपका 2B से फॉलो हो रहा है. 2B में आता है, 3B में है, क्लेम कर सकते हैं. ये टाइम पीरियड में 2 साल के अंदर होगा क्लियर कट. और सर जो आप 2B 3B बोल रहे हैं इट हैड बिकम अ लॉ अंडर सेक्शन 16 सबसेक्शन 2 क्लॉज AA रेड विद अमेंडेड रूल 36 सब रूल 4 फ्रॉम 1st जनवरी 2022. बोलने का मतलब क्या है 2B में नहीं आया है, क्लेम ही नहीं कर सकते हैं, लॉ बन गया है. 4th कंडीशन जो मैं सर को बताया था, इनवॉइस होना चाहिए, माल आना चाहिए, टैक्स पेमेंट होना चाहिए सप्लायर का, और चौथा मैंने 3B फाइल किया. 5th कंडीशन फ्रॉम 1st जनवरी 2022 2B में आना चाहिए फ्रॉम 1st जनवरी 2022 और आपका अप्रैल 22 से हो रहा है. तो 2B में तो सर आना ही चाहिए. 2B में नहीं आया तो 3B में क्लेम ही नहीं कर सकते आप. 2B में नहीं आया हुआ 3B में क्लेम कर दिए तो उसका तो आपको मिलेगा नहीं, होता रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा. रिफंड तो दूर का बात है. इट हैज टू बी देयर मैंडेट सर, आपको फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज बिकम लॉ. पहले 2A का बेनिफिट था तो ऊपर नीचे हो जाता था, वो 1 फाइल किया बहुत बाद में, इनवॉइस में से हो गया बाद में किया, वो सब नहीं. 2B है सर अभी 2B में आना चाहिए सर आपका, तभी तो क्लेम कर पाएंगे सर, नहीं तो इलीगल क्लेम है वो, आपका क्लेम नहीं है सर. बट आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा क्योंकि पूरा कंटिन्यूस 2 इयर्स का होना चाहिए सर. वो तो एनेक्शल B है ना सर, वो तो आप एनेक्शल B का मैचिंग करते हैं, वो 2B से मैच करेंगे. वो मेन है, दैट इज द क्रक्स ऑफ द रिफंड. वो तो इंस्पेक्टर लोग बैठ करके करते हैं.
Hello everyone, we are really running short of time and we'll accommodate one last question if anybody has. Sir, आपको तो कुछ भी नहीं
सर मैम कुछ कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं.
आप जो स्लाइड दिखा रहे थे उसको मिल सकता है?
हाँ we will give it to you by email.
ऑटोमेटिकली आएगा कि उसके?
हाँ we will send you automatically. All participants will be emailed.
लास्ट टाइम नहीं मिला था
क्या कौशिक?
सबको क्या हुआ सर, जो ईमेल आईडी से आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन था उसी में गया?
हाँ रजिस्टर्ड ईमेल आईडी से.
सर एनी इशू आल्सो आफ्टर दिस जो डेक है, दिस इज मतलब कि अब व्हाट वुड आई से बाय माई सेल्फ, बट इट इज़ अ कंप्लीट फुल मैनुअल. आप समझ लीजिए जितना भी लिटिगेशन जो भी मैं बोला इन्वेस्टिगेशन का फुल मैनुअल, कुछ भी आएगा आप सिर्फ देख करके. बट at any given point in time, if you need any support, I am also a part of all your community, ना sir? आप phone करिए, message करिए, कोई problem नहीं. हाँ sir, मिल जाएगा.
सर आपका कांटेक्ट यहाँ दिया हुआ है ना स्लाइड्स में?
हाँ, contact
दे दीजिए यहाँ से. व्हाट्सएप नंबर है, फोन नंबर है.
हाँ, contact number है.
And
मैं यहाँ पर विजिटिंग कार्ड्स भी रख रहा हूँ अपना. आप देख लीजिए.
Each one of you have a feedback form in this file. उसको please quickly भर दीजिए. And give it to Mr. Kaushik. So before we end, we would like to appreciate your.
Sir, contact करिए, कोई भी issue होगा contact करिए, कोई problem नहीं.
1 minute अभी मीटिंग खत्म नहीं हुआ. Sir, a small token of. तेरे सामने तो ভালো আসবে না, এগিয়ে এসো.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I hope आप लोग cover. I tried to cover as much. मतलब I was a little quick, but I wanted to cover
No,
everything.
you did a wonderful job. I would officially like to put on record our vote of thanks for you
Please connect.
and for your delegation.